Hello and welcome to another sexy installment of the Pulitzer Prize-winning Winners Take Y'all, where tonight we come to you from the palatial new home of Freehwheeling Powersports. In this episode, we welcome Triumph Motorcycles GM Rod Lapuznak, team principal Bobby Hewitt, and the GOAT himself, the sexiest man of them all, Ricky Carmichael. And this show would not be possible without our sexy advertisements. And we have 275 platinum level sponsors, and we're going to go through each one of them one by one. So listen: helmet skins, lever skins, pork skins, lamb skins, bear skin rugs, Skintimate lotions, potato skins, blouses versus skins, the Washington Redskins. Anything with the skin, we are in. And now on to the sexy Winners Take Y'all. So welcome to Winners Take Y'all. We've never done this on the road. We think we're recording. I know I'm recording here. We'll just see what happens. We'll just play it by ear. So John Watkins, Nick Blackman, and Rod Lapuznak.
Good try. Good try.
Mess that up.
I like it.
No matter how many times, I'm gonna have to see it in writing.
Yeah, Kevin, don't overanalyze. I'm the 85 school spelling bee champ, so realistically, I should be in charge of pronunciations.
Well, first things first, this is our first opportunity to say hello from our new studio temporarily for the night. This is Freewheeling Honda, or Freewheeling Powersports now. We got to throw in the other new addition to Freewheeling. It's just now Triumph. They've had Triumph for a while, though.
Yes, yeah. They've had a showroom full of Triumphs, but this is a new shop for Freewheeling, and it's spectacular.
And we've our first guest, of course, the reason why we're even doing this is we want to kind of talk about this new dirt bike that you guys have, Rod. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
from
for
Triumph.
having me.
And yeah, so I guess we won't get too technical with you on the aspects of the bike there, and we'll kind of save that for the guys that are actually going to ride. That's really loud out there, and we're getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I think back those mics down just a hair.
I don't know how you do that. See that
volume? No, just come on down with the volume. All right, let's see. I think that sounds better.
I think you're right.
Sounds like we're at like field day in an elementary school.
Yeah, so I'm calling Rod for kickball and the sack race. You all
what
right
about
with
the
that?
egg toss? Man, I sucked at the egg toss. You ever do that?
Egg toss was terrible.
Rod, did you ever have a field day?
I did.
You did those? Pull that mic. You got to get on that thing.
Trying to say I'm old?
No.
Yeah, he didn't know if they had fields back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, had dirt though, right?
All dirt.
Rod is not old. I guarantee you we're all about the same age.
Rod, talk into your mic. Let me say that.
Go ahead. Too quiet?
No, you just want to
Closer?
describe field day. You want to say, I dominated kickball in field day, 1983.
I got third in the 40-yard
84.
dash. I do have that.
Yeah, 84. Was I wrong?
No. I'm
Okay.
just joking.
How old are you, Rod?
57.
Okay.
57. All right.
How old do you think Nick is right here?
112.
111.
Take a stab at it.
Yeah, get on, Rod. You got to get in this
45. 45.
Nope.
No? All right.
I'm not hearing Rod at all. You guys
No,
are
I'm here.
We're hearing fine. Yeah.
I'm good then.
Okay.
Okay.
I won't.
Yeah, quit telling him to eat microphones.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just not hearing him in my headphones.
I'll keep
I
yelling.
hear you guys though.
Closer. No, it's we do have one ghost headset sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Rod, tell everybody what you do, and I mean we know, but let's explain to everybody at home that's watching at VurbMoto or wherever they're watching this.
Yeah, so I'm responsible for Triumph for North America. So all of our United States dealers and all of our Canadian dealers.
So not a lot of responsibility.
Not much
No,
to do. Usually sleeping in.
That's right.
Get a late breakfast.
10, 12 hours a week maybe.
Yes.
Work,
I get to pick RC up at the airport. That's really what I do.
Yeah.
That was this week's.
That's
that was
right.
something to do this week.
That's all you had this whole week was, I got to leave now for RC.
That's right.
Dang it. So you're responsible for getting these motorcycles, ultimately, where we will see these new Triumph motocross bikes, which is kind of our interest. When were we going to see those things at a dealership like this?
So definitely next year. So we have a global announcement of all the details on November 28th.
All right.
Okay, so we got to sit and
It's
wait.
coming soon.
Sorry.
Hey, we're a month out there.
I can stay here. This is a nice place.
Sure.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you there.
They're going to have to restock the vending machine though, because I can't stay here that long without food.
Yeah, there's
There's
shower
nothing
either.
in there.
You got a food truck outside, though.
There we go. I will use the food truck.
So this is the first time we've ever even done video, so this is a little scary. So we've got some high-res 4K super tight, zoomed in shots of your nose hair. Hope you guys
There's
took care
no
of that.
telling how this looks.
I know, it looks awful.
And there is, it's hard because we're
Ugly.
used to being
We're
the perfect
ugly.
faces
we
for
got-
radio.
We have faces for radio.
We've talked about how sexy Nick is forever, and now
Everybody knows we're lying.
look at his legs, and now it's like they're going, that's him? That's Nick
Yeah.
Blackman? Yeah, that's
Oh.
Nick Blackman.
No, I think you answered the call.
You think he held up in front of the camera?
Good hair day. I've had, the shirt. I got a medium Triumph shirt from them.
That's right.
Seems to be working out pretty well.
That's right.
So let me lean on
Yeah,
a
we're going to
question
ask
here
some
for-
real questions.
Yes,
Yeah, go
Rod,
ahead.
As
Absolutely.
much as we're going to talk about dumb stuff, there will be a few serious things.
No problem.
So Triumph is a very old company. I think it started in 1902. I just came back from England, so this is at the front of my, my brain right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So Triumph has been around for a long time. Current owner, I guess, since around '83 or so.
Correct.
He's doing all right with his finances, right?
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's comfortable, but
Checks are cashing every.
when the company's doing well, what in the world would possess Triumph to say, let's enter a totally new market, one that we've never entered before?
Well, I think the key is that Triumph decided that they want to be a full-line motorcycle brand instead of a niche motorcycle brand. And historically, our company is built on classic motorcycles, like our Bonneville lineup.
Yep.
And then, of course, after the 80s, they gradually went into what the more roadster side, and then, of course, adventure. So now to really further expand, we're going to go into multiple other segments. And to be honest, off-road's not the only one. You'll see over the next 2 or 3 years that our lineup further expands even more.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're perceiving it as a risk, but
No.
in the history of, let's just say, American motocross, there's been 1 or 2 failed attempts to enter. Now, Triumph comes in with a much more, much bigger heritage than the other.
I think they have a steadier financial portfolio than perhaps
Than
Cannondale,
Cannondale did,
maybe.
yeah.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm referring
go.
to.
Sure.
So I realize financially you can afford to give it a shot. It's just interesting to me that there's a segment you haven't tried. You've reorganized how you foresee Triumph in the future as being a company that offers everything, and you're willing to go for it.
Yeah, I think the thing to understand is that the average Triumph customer in the U.S., in North America, actually is 47 years old. And, being a lifelong motorcyclist, we all have seen what's happened to Harley Davidson, right? With their customers aging out. So Triumph definitely wants to pay attention to that. And our goal is to drive down the average customer age for Triumph. And a big piece of that is off-road, right? Probably all of us
Exciting.
here learned how to ride, and got involved in motorcycles at a young age.
Yep.
So that's a key piece. So now, for me personally, it's going to be amazing to go to a Supercross and see a kid in a Triumph t-shirt. Because right now it's a guy like me, luckily, if we're in the stands. And I think that the whole thing with Supercross, the whole off-road piece, it's going to really just propel us and explode our brand from an awareness standpoint.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you build that customer as a child, that's their favorite brand as they grow up. I think that's key. I think it's a really cool thing. So knowing that you're not just focused on the motocross market. I mean, that's our background. That's our interest. Is
Mine
motocross.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you see this Triumph effort? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I mean, are we gunning for championships, or are we still building in 5 years?
No, I would say, we're realistic. I work with Ricky. Prior to Triumph, I spent 20 years at Suzuki. So I was there, the whole time with Ricky. So, we've built RCH together.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what we're doing here. I think realistically in 5 years, we'll be competitive, for a championship for sure. But the company as a whole knows it's not easy. We're in a nuclear arms race, as you guys know, of being lifelong motorcyclists. So we absolutely want to be competitive. We're getting into this to be competitive, which I think, and the unique thing, as you guys talked about before with the other brands, we're not only building a production motorcycle. In my opinion, that's part of the failure of the other brands. We're building a complete factory race team here in the U.S. and also for MXGP. We're building a brand new complete race facility like no one's ever built here.
That's exciting.
So we're 100% committed. The legs to Triumph are to be distinctive, cool, authentic, and premium with everything we do.
Yep.
And we're absolutely following that process with the off-road piece. We don't want to be the biggest. We're not trying to compete with KTM or Honda, you know, from a volume standpoint. We absolutely want to build the best, most premium product. But we do understand, hey, we're just happy to be a part of the 7 other amazing brands and go out there and compete on Sunday or Saturday and really just give our, you know, customers and a Triumph fan something to be excited about.
Tell me how long this has even been in the works. Like, when do you remember the first conversations about this?
So we kicked this off, I would say, almost 5 years ago was when it, you know, when the napkin came out on that.
Right.
You know, so
that's when we started we started talking about this podcast, and we finally did it this year. So we're on the same trajectory.
Yeah,
as you
but
guys.
you're totally writing off all the years of preparation before that, where we did all the dumb stuff,
getting ready
to
for
be able to do the podcast.
Right.
Because if we didn't do the dumb stuff,
We would. Yeah, very similar stories. Our graphs are virtually
they're
identical.
identical. Yes.
But, you know, when you talk about Triumph being different and building something, you could walk around this showroom and compared to walking around another manufacturer's showroom right now.
Yeah, it's different.
I mean, it is, and there's a lot of cool stuff. Like, I'm not, like I said, we all grew up with motocross. Mm-hmm. I own a street bike, and I...
Sorry, I want your mic to be really close to your lips.
Thanks.
Real close.
I know you like it like that.
Those
So-
survived COVID. These mics went through the COVID. And
Not yours,
But-
ours went through COVID. Yours is safe, right?
Yeah, yours is perfectly clean.
yes.
Well, we would have probably been talking about this a year earlier if it wasn't COVID.
Yeah,
that
that's
definitely
right.
impacted our program.
But you walk around a showroom and look at everything Triumph's doing. I mean, like, I walk around this, and I'm like, every second, third bike, I'm like, man, that's a cool bike. Dude, that's a cool bike.
Yeah,
That's
and
you know.
And to your point, I would just to give you guys the detail that we go through as a company, that paint on the wall, that's only a Triumph color. This flooring is a Triumph flooring. That tile is Triumph tile. So all the furniture in here, these chairs, it's Triumph chairs that we designed, we built. So that's the attention to detail.
You're building a brand on levels that we don't even think about.
Yeah, we
right?
did not get the memo on the clothing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They're wearing shorts. We're just a wreck over here.
That looks good. You guys look good.
He's in the center because of his legs. They're super nice legs.
You know,
at
but
this thing.
John and I have already, we're on the list now for a Scrambler 400.
There
we
you
had
go.
no intentions of.
Today, they just got on the list today.
Yeah,
And he's
2
not
hours
kidding.
ago, we didn't know that we were getting on a list.
2 hours ago, we didn't know Triumph made a Scrambler 400.
That's right. And that's another piece. As
Now
I
we're
talked
on the
about,
list.
Yeah, as I talked about our age. So, you know, one of the big Supercross will bring a lot of awareness to the brand. The 2 new 400s, the Speed 400 and the Scrambler 400X, they're the first time we've built a bike below a 660. So,
yeah, it's never been small bore.
yeah, so and that even from a roadside, it's going to give us the ability to have people learn on a Triumph. As we talked about with the dirt bikes, they're MSF approved, so now people, you know, guys and girls 15, 16, 17 years old can go learn on a Triumph, and we've never had that opportunity.
So that's the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. And
They're located
all
right in
the-
Roswell, Georgia. There's one here.
Yeah, certified coaches nationwide. You can buy a Triumph, and Triumph can advise you, hey, here's a guy who can help you learn, you know. So
Well, if they learn on a Triumph and they have a great experience, the chances of them coming to
They'll
visit
buy another
freewheeling as an example, right?
Yeah.
You know, so we start them at a much younger age.
So you mentioned a second ago, you kind of just said it like you're going to have a full factory effort for your motocross team. You'll have to. Can you kind of talk about, or maybe you don't know, but if you do know, the homologation rules to even enter this motorcycling competition? Because it used to be like a number of 400 machines had to be in the U.S.
Yeah, it's still 400. So in general, you got to build half of that by March 1st in a race calendar year, and then you have to build the other half by June 1st.
Okay.
So, you know, that's no problem.
So that'll be
for
no
us.
problem?
No problem whatsoever.
Is
If you
Ricky
need
actually
help-
making that? Yeah, we can come down and help. If
Yeah,
you need help.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll
I would
have
put Ricky
him
to work.
working.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know,
make Ricky spin a wrench.
no problem.
You know,
I've got my own T-handles.
so there's you know, it's really like you can't afford not to use us.
Yeah,
Nick
that's
has T-handles.
I've got T-handles, man. You know.
I mean, how many times have you had someone come in for a job and they had their T-handles? I mean,
Hanging on their side like a fanny pack, like they're going to the starting
like
line.
a pistol.
Like a hammer.
Ready.
yeah,
I like it.
like a framer with a
Work
hammer.
belt, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
T-handles and an air gauge.
So there were some glimpses of the machine purposefully. Obviously, they were ridden at the LA Coliseum, which is a cool event to sort of it's where Supercross
Very
kind of
iconic.
started. Yes, that's what I mean. Iconic. It's where Supercross kind of started, and maybe that was the last event at the LA Coliseum. But Triumph was able to show its machines.
How cool was that?
There.
That was amazing.
Were you there?
Yeah,
Or just like-
absolutely.
And would you just feel like, oh my God, we've been working so hard,
Yeah,
and
but-
now this thing's out there and people screaming their heads off for it?
Well, I mean, it's two sides. There's a personal side because I've been a lifelong, motocross guy my entire life, and then to be a part of this project from, like I said, I spent many years at Suzuki, but to be a part of this program as a whiteboard and then to kind of captivate it at the end at the
And
LA
there,
Coliseum,
since you're a lifelong guy,
was super
Oh
cool.
my God.
It was amazing, and just to hear the buzz, of the riders, of people I've known in the industry for so long about the bike, it's just, and finally for it to come to fruition from the first breakfast we had with RC, back 4.5 years ago, talking about him coming aboard as being, one of the key pieces of our puzzle.
So doing different and unique things is no different when you were at Suzuki when we were transitioning from 2 strokes to 4 strokes. You lived that?
Oh yeah.
The 05. Were you at that 05 press intro for Suzuki where they brought all the past champions there?
Yeah,
I emceed that.
Oh, awesome.
And it was a complete disaster. The video we designed for you was supposed to play, and Mel Harris was called during the middle. I'm emceeing in this video, so I said, let's go ahead and take a look. There's everybody from press is there, and that video would not play. And Mel Harris came down and just about grabbed that microphone out of my hand, and I was looking at my guys that we did it was a complete train wreck. Anyway, I just wanted to finally somebody that was there that saw that disaster. Do you remember that? Maybe
I don't, and that's a good thing.
That's a good
That's a
thing.
really good thing.
It was awful. It was so.
Kevin still loses sleep about it.
Oh man, it was bad news.
You can see in his face that he doesn't still feel good about it. It's
No.
not at peace.
Well, Mel might have been ripping me too at that time.
You guys
so-
probably got it. That's
Yeah.
right. It was at K1 or something, the go-kart place.
Yeah, exactly.
K1 speed.
We have trouble letting go of things. Kevin holds on to that pretty hard.
That was 18
And then
years ago.
We saw a little bit of John's disdain for when he's buying those 3 Cannondale bikes and going racing.
Yeah, like these are the next big thing. I need to really buy a bunch of these.
Yes, the motor placement. I love everything about this thing.
I'll have
Parts
a
are gonna
race
be easy to
bike.
get.
I'll have a practice bike and a mud bike.
So he signed he get on the list for a Triumph, and he's a little gun shy about trying new things.
I promise you got nothing to worry about. We're here to stay.
I also promise you I'm not gun shy about Triumph.
No. Do you remember that whole Cannondale deal where you were in?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually in charge at that time. I was in charge of ATV motocross at Suzuki.
Yeah.
So of course they did. They brought that out, and it was a fairly popular model. So yeah, I absolutely do. But I mean, they went about it completely different than we are.
Well, now we were talking, computers and everything has evolved so much where you could design a bike.
You can
and
do a lot of things
probably
before
test
you
it
even.
and everything before. And back then they were just like, okay,
I think this will work.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I've got a welder.
Yeah, and a hacksaw.
But we're going to get Ricky on in a little bit, and we'll get Bobby Hewitt. And those 2 names are the first 2 things that I'm like, well, you're not doing it half-assed. Like you've got some dudes and I'm watching the video behind us, and I'm seeing all the talent behind you that have been involved in the making of this motorcycle. So you're confident the thing's going to work.
I'm 100% confident. I mean, we have, world-class designers and engineers that are on this, project. But then we've also went out, from the start with RC and Dave Arnold and Bobby and, Tedesco and DeSalle in Europe. I mean, we've hired some very, very high-quality people. When these other brands have went out there, they didn't have that, right? We know what we're doing. We have the greatest of all time, leading that, and with his feedback and constantly giving us, great information. So I feel very confident. The great thing is, as you guys talked about, our ownership is private. We're not a corporation.
You can get stuff done quickly.
So we're not driven by that. We have amazing leadership, so things happen, and they're going to 100% make sure they do it right.
Hey, one thing we forgot to mention was that there's demo rides all day tomorrow, 9 to 3 for Triumph, and there's stunt shows at 11, 1, and 3, Nick and Ernie stunt shows here at Freewheeling Honda. So if you're out tomorrow, stop by, go take a ride on one of those killer-looking Triumphs out front. It's exciting to see them all lined up.
Do not steal
and-
it. Don't steal it though, right?
No, you're not.
That's not cool.
We're not doing that.
No. And hey,
So wait, let me ask you guys a question. So do you guys like the way the new motocross bike looks from what you've seen?
I mean, I loved your foot peg when y'all debuted that foot peg video, and then the Fork 2 came out about a month later. I know y'all got a little heat. I'm just giving you a hard time, but yeah, once you finally got to see it, yeah, of course.
But the great thing is you did watch every one of the videos.
100%.
It looks
so
like
you
it
drug
goes
us all
fast.
in.
So it worked.
It worked.
So
yeah.
it worked.
Yeah, we had a foot peg to look at for a minute.
Dude, that foot peg is sick, but man, it's quality. No, I know what you're trying to do, just create news. Like the
It's
NFL has
creating
something going on.
anticipation.
It looks good though. I mean, you know.
It looks fast. It
Yeah.
looks like it would go fast.
good.
Looks good on a stand.
That's good.
I
it'll
saw
look
some
good on the
AI
track.
versions. I was playing around with this AI software. I'm like, design me a motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. And it literally spit out a bike. I'm like, there's
That's
the
a
new
Triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So it
Now
did
listen,
exactly.
you know they have like patents and all these things, so don't get all 3D printer going over there
my
and,
Triumph.
and give it a
Right.
shot.
I love how we just went from doing the show to talking about what's going on here. And we could have went, hey, we got an 87 Astro van. We need to get that thing moved
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, if you could, you left your lights on.
Yeah,
You need
right.
to cut those lights off.
So we're hanging out with Rod from Triumph, kind of giving us the behind the scenes of, putting this whole thing together. You got a really big picture to look at. Like as we work our way into bringing Bobby on, the picture gets smaller, then Ricky, it even gets smaller. So man, I can't imagine all the balls you have in the air, like just keeping this thing moving.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, like I said, I'm a lifelong motorcyclist, and I'm fortunate to be in the position I am with an amazing company. And I mean, we have, the great thing about the motocross bike and everything we're going to do, it's going to bring more business for great dealers like Freehwheeling. I mean, they're one of our top 10 best dealers in the nation.
Oh, wow.
So it's exciting to see them, build this amazing facility and all the things that'll surround it. So, the project is just one of many. But the great thing is it brings a massive amount of awareness and excitement. And I think, truly it's great for the industry, right? We haven't had a new brand truly enter. So, the more the better.
Yeah.
I'm same opinion. Beta, come on in, man. Jump on in.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Triumph. I love
Ducati,
it.
whoever. Yeah, hey, I'll go back to kind of business strategy for a second.
Yeah.
It says that when the Bloor family bought Triumph, that it took them from 83 until 2000 to truly get their investment paid back. I don't know if that's true,
Yeah,
but
and-
that's what's out on the old interwebs there.
It could be. I don't know. They started small.
Yeah.
We weren't in that many countries. Now, now we're
Yes.
global. We're all over the world. We have manufacturing both in the UK and in Thailand. Where actually a new facility is underway right now being built.
Yeah.
So I couldn't honestly answer.
Well, that part's not really my question. My question is, that was a heck of an investment to get Triumph rolling on the pathway that it's on now, and to not get paid back for 17 years. And so this motocross project is very expensive. You know that.
Yep.
Is there any forecast in your brain that would say, hey man, we think we'll see our money back to zero, paid back for this investment? 10 years, 20 years. I mean, do you have any kind of forecast like that you know about?
Or it's got to be a pretty big passion project.
Or is it-
to go?
Yes, or is it just a passion project and we're not sweating it?
It's both. I mean, I think when the company, the family made the decision to become a full-line motorcycle brand, we're not interested in ATVs, watercraft, side-by-side, or anything like that. They're going to remain 100% a motorcycle brand. That's the key to the company. And they're, like I said, they're privately held, so they're 100% committed to it. So it's not, it's as much business as it is the passion to expand the product line. So no, they're 100% committed. There's no failure. Is not even.
And I wasn't really leaning towards failure. It was more like,
Hey, John, can you help him with that hat?
yeah,
He's looking at a
that
hat.
comes
Yeah,
in
you can get a
large
hat.
through extra large.
So
and-
being a motocross guy your whole life and growing up, have you just been dying to ride the bike?
Have you've ridden it? Right?
Yeah, I've
Okay, I was just sure. I didn't know if you'd ridden it.
I've ridden, the multiple different models. I mean, and that's the great thing, the whole development, starting at a whiteboard, from literally the first meeting of, watching RC, put things on the board of what was important. It's just been an amazing experience. It'll be a cool story later on, once the bike is truly out, and then we can kind of go backwards again. It'll be a really cool piece of the history of it.
Like the closer it gets, I want to ride one.
Yeah.
Like I'm just dying to ride one.
Tell me how the security clearance works here. Like, how have you guys kept that in-house without, I think one video got leaked.
Because we
around.
haven't been able to get in, not once.
As soon as we get in there, it's going viral. I promise
Well,
you
know,
that.
our offices are only like,
I know, you're not far.
Listen,
Yeah,
we
we're right by
bought
the
a
airport.
van, 3 white jumpsuits,
Pantyhose
and some,
for our face.
yeah, and some ladders. So
And
we're
a
just
loud
gonna come,
stereo
We're going to
system.
come walking in with
Come
a
on
ladder
down.
like we know what we're doing.
A clipboard and a whistle. We're running.
Nick swears that you can break into any place with a ladder.
If you guys want, you can stop by the office and I'll show you the bike. But you can't, no cameras. So
That's
you're welcome.
exciting.
That's happening.
You're
I think
welcome
we're-
to come in and, I'll give you a private tour.
Well, you can ride with
so
us.
so
We'll drive.
Monday morning,
Absolutely. Come on down.
We'll kidnap you, essentially, is what's happening here.
Yeah.
we're going to pull up in the old school black van like in the movie.
You
Old
see the
School.
A-team,
Yeah.
A-team van pull up?
It's
You
happening.
Love
better
it.
get nervous.
Well, Rod, man, thanks for hopping on.
Well,
Thanks for coming all the way. You got one more
I
question?
got one more question.
Yeah,
So
keep them coming.
You've been riding forever. What was your first motorcycle?
A JT1 Yamaha.
Okay, so it was not a KD80.
No, that was a little, I was on YZ80s. By
That was a little
Oh,
advanced.
so you chose something that was a good motorcycle. That's
That
cool.
was manly.
Well, I didn't have a choice. My grandparents owned a Yamaha dealership. That's
Oh,
how.
Yes.
So your grandparents loved you.
Yeah, we're not
'Cause
trying
my
to
dad,
mention.
my dad owned a Kawasaki dealership. He got me a KD80.
Oh yeah, that's.
Have you ever
That's
seen
a
one of
learner.
those, Rod?
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. I remember.
It's
it.
got a seat like this long and a.
So what year? Like 83?
83 with
See?
metal gas tank. Like the seat, you could slide all the way.
The seat goes past the back fender.
The seat goes all the way over the front fender too. Like,
Yes.
you could slide over the gas tank onto
They
the
were,
fender.
they were bound to determine Kevin was never going to meet a girl.
and they
they
made
bought
sure of that.
That shows you truly how old I am because if I can pull that out.
You
right,
knew
did-
about a
yeah.
KD80.
Yeah,
That's
see?
It's
the
basically
big-
if a kid draws a motorcycle, it's just a square with some wheels. That's what a KD80
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
It's terrible.
That's
yeah,
the
I
one.
had some friends with them, so you know.
They did have that big.
They
like,
failed, too.
A couple of years had the chrome fender went all the way around the front tire
Awful.
almost.
Yes.
all the way around it. Yes, all the way
It
around
was
it.
just a contact patch that didn't have fender.
That was a
Yes,
terrible,
that
terrible
was your tread.
motorcycle. Well, Rod, thank you again. We'll let you get back to hobnobbing and hanging out here with the boys from Freehwheeling.
Man, we really appreciate you guys. This is awesome.
No problem. Thank you guys very much.
See you Monday morning.
All right,
luck.
come on
Yeah.
down. Seriously.
We'll bring donuts.
I'm not joking.
I'm coming. Don't think
We're not joking either,
I'll be
Rod.
clocking
The
in,
one
son.
issue we have is that we
We'll
don't know how to
swing.
joke about what we're going to do next.
We don't joke. We're coming.
Because we
can
don't
do
joke.
another podcast from Triumph. Come on.
It's
Yeah.
All
happening.
right,
go.
sounds good.
Thanks, Rod. We're going to bring Bobby Hewitt in. Just jump in hot micing it. Bobby, if you're ready, if you want to tag in, he's going
Bobby, you can ride that bike in.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Just
I'd
cruise
love
right
to
on
see
in.
him lock it up and
Nose Willie, that puppy in there.
drag a couple of cords loose. And
We all remember Bobby Hewitt. He used to, I used to see him way back in the day, just him and his kid,
Hunter
Hewitt,
Hewitt.
racing.
Yep.
And then he goes, you know what? I'm going to buy an 18-wheeler, and I'm going to have a team, and I'm going to just let Extreme Kawasaki, and here we go. He was a partner with Kawasaki Team Green for a long time. Then Hunter hung up the boots, per se, and then he jumped on board with Rockstar Suzuki, Rockstar Husqvarna, and the no-compete clause is over after the 5 years of whatever, and now he's back. I made that part up. I
Yeah.
totally made that up.
But Kevin's real versed in contract law, so
Yes.
anybody has any questions, you come see us.
Well, welcome, and dude, impressive dealership, and the things you've already told us about the facility down at Matt Walker's old place, it's looking good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot.
what
All
I
right,
say?
well, we appreciate it,
All right,
Bobby.
thanks for being on,
Thanks,
Bobby.
Bobby.
I'm still
Appreciate
trying
that.
to get used to the headphones and things.
Well, they're a pain in the tail.
They
You
are.
can hear us, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
good. You're good.
You know that I've been doing this over 20 years. This is the first podcast or anything I've ever done.
You've been
Are
on
you
ours.
serious?
No, he's been
No.
on DMXS back in the day.
Back in the day, but that was a phone call.
Yes, this is an in-house.
Yeah,
like-
this is.
Don't worry, nobody listens to us. I promise you, everybody's having fun. So maybe they'll watch on VurbMoto or whatever. But
Yeah.
so don't get.
Well, I
don't
was
get-
standing in the back, and when you had Rod up, and I was like, I couldn't hear anything, so I had
Good.
to come up here. I was like,
Oh,
I need to
Well,
at
he
least
was
hear
right
what he
beside
said.
the speaker,
Okay.
too, so it was aimed the other way. So it's okay. We're going to want to ask you the exact same questions. It'll kind of be like
Yeah.
the newlywed game.
Yeah. So where's the weirdest place
Family-
you've ever
family
made
feud.
whoopee?
How well do
Family
you know
Feud.
Rod? Yeah.
Survey says.
What's
No.
that one? Where's the weirdest place you've ever made whoopee?
Made whoopee. That's the
Yeah.
question. That's the number one question.
Yeah, and you know the answer.
Yeah.
I won't say.
I don't know if I want to answer that because my wife might be listening.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that question. But well, finally, the cat's somewhat out of the bag with
Yep.
regard to the bike, the team, kind of what's happening here. It's kind of coming into focus.
Yeah, it's been a long road. I mean, a lot of people don't know. Ricky and JH actually reached out to me in May of 21. Was my first initial contact on, and at that time they were like, are you still interested in racing, getting back into racing? And as I told them, I said, right place, right time, right situation. I'm very much interested, but I had plenty of opportunities to get back into it, but it wasn't the right place or the right time.
This is pretty premium. This is a top shelf. I mean, this is not a drop off from where you were, in my opinion, from Rockstar Husqvarna.
You jumped right back in with both feet for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those that the other opportunities that I had, with everything that was being presented, as I told Triumph, I said, if you're just interested in getting back in the game, just being another team in the pits, then, finishing 7th through 15th,
yeah,
I'm not interested. Yeah. But, I've been very blessed, have a great crew, and, we won plenty of championships, and so I somewhat, checked all the boxes, got all the trophies. So if I came back, I wanted to be at that same level. I wanted to be in with a partner, with a manufacturer that wanted to develop not just another program, but the program, and compete for championships and race wins. And Triumph checked all those boxes for me.
Well, dude, he was talking earlier about the facility. So they went in and purchased Matt Walker's training facility, and the things you're saying, like as soon as you pull in, you want it to look like a state park. So you're trying to make a statement, and make that place look premier, like from the first moments on the grounds.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. We've had it about a year now. Matt had it set up very well for a training facility. The way they had it had tons of tracks, different situations set up. Leveled a lot of the tracks. It's basically 165 acres, and I've divided it up into 3 segments. And the first segment is, I want it to look like a state park. When you come in the entryway, it sets the precedence of
it's your first impression. Let's make a good one, yeah.
So that's where our new race shop and our welcome center and everything will be set up. So we have, obviously I'm trying to do everything as quickly as I can, but we had a 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 7-year plan, and most importantly was getting the foundation and everything that we needed right away. And we've done a really good job, and it's come along nicely.
So, I mean, I don't even know where to start in terms of, like, John, you may have a question, but like, I'm just so fascinated with starting from dead scratch, like the motorcycle. How do you sell? I don't know, maybe they just, let's say if I'm Joey Savatgy and somebody comes to me and like, hey, we got a brand new team, brand new bike, we've never made it, like,
and you've never ridden it.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever ridden it.
But I'd like to sign you to ride it, but you've never ridden it. You've never seen it.
We've got some good guys involved, so you got to have to play on that. Like, who's the guys involved?
The hardest thing is that in this industry, basically the race season starts October 1st and runs through September 30th. By the time you get to A2 in the Supercross, riders and agents are like, okay, let's start talking about contract extension or looking at other teams and things like that. And as there's only 2 people initially, that are familiar with our sport and our industry, and that was Rod and I. And I'm trying to tell them, look, our biggest challenge is perception. Perception's 80% of the battle, and when I'm inviting riders and having them come and look at the facility and going over all those things, I'm trying to sell the dream, and then they turn around and they go to Mitch Baton's place, and he's got this nice
You can look at it, you can touch it.
He's got this huge pipe shop there. They go to KTM, there's brand new $52 million facility, and I'm like, yeah, that 75-year-old barn over there, that's not going to be there.
It'll be there. Just imagine this.
We're going to take that.
Here's our concept drawing in watercolor.
Here's the concept.
Here's our Lego city model.
Yeah.
Yes, we painted the grass green.
But I am fortunate, like I have Scuba. Stephen Westfall is my crew chief. He's been with me for 16 years. When I called him and said, I got a place for you, he said, and it's not an option, You're coming,
Well, and Bobby, you kind of present it like you had to sell the dream, but your legacy in the sport is secure. There's no there's you carry some weight with you. So if you call someone and say, hey man, here's what we're going to do, I want you to be part of it. I mean, I think it's coming from a really nice place.
Yeah, I don't view myself that way.
Of course
not. I'm not a Ricky Carmichael. I'm not a 5-time world champion. I'm not Mitch Page. I've always felt like I'm kind of outside the box looking in. I do have a different...
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
Especially for a new brand.
And I know that my management style and everything is completely different on many levels than other manufacturers. But, when I called Dave Arnold was retired, but Tomac was trying to get him, full-time with him as and help him develop the chassis with the Yamaha. And I told Dave, I go, you call John and tell him you've already got a job because you're coming to work for me.
You told Dave Arnold.
Nice.
Yeah.
To tell John Tomac.
You're done.
Sorry about your offer. The offer is off the table.
Which he did, and then,
Cool.
He's a Motorcycle Hall of Fame.
He's a legend. I could talk to Dave Arnold for months.
Oh.
He is unbelievable with the stuff he knows.
And so having Scuba as my crew chief again, like I said, we worked together for 16 years. We worked very well together. Mm-hmm. Having Dave Arnold, I'd worked with him before, and having him come on, and then was still trying to see who I wanted to get for the powertrain. And I had heard that Dudley Cramen had retired and left KTM, and a lot of people don't know it's the mechanics and everything are always in the background. I always tell everybody, look, it's the staff that's doing all the hard work. Unfortunately, I got to be the guy that's the face of it and the front of it, but the credit really goes to the guys in the back. And
that's what good leaders say.
That's
the truth.
And Dudley, when it comes to the powertrain, he is Dave Arnold's equal on the chassis side of it. So when I found out that he had left his previous position, I think he was retired for about 24 hours.
Wow.
So you just put together this MVP team. We asked Rod, I'm like, when you look around and you talk about all the guys that are involved, that's probably, to me, if I'm a guy that's looking to jump on a team and I see you got Dave Arnold, you got Ricky involved, you got Triumph, you got this whatever it takes mentality to get it done. That's kind of attractive too, to do it on a new bike, maybe kind of create a legacy.
I mean, it's like when Ricky and JH first reached out to me, they made it very clear. First, they wouldn't tell me who it was because I had signed the NDA. Second was they said...
Were you concerned it was Canada? Or you're like, I don't know, boys.
I'm not fronting, man.
I still have plenty of contacts, so, I'm running through all the different scenarios in my head of, okay, well, I know this is going on over at this manufacturer. I thought it was one of the existing ones. And they're like, we have 6 that we're interviewing and doing our due diligence and going through. And I tell everybody jokingly, somewhat jokingly, but it's the truth. When you're not looking for a job, you can be really open and honest on, if I'm going to lay it out.
Freedom, right there.
Hey,
Now's the time.
Now's the time. And I didn't sugarcoat it any at all, And so in my mind, I'm like, as I found out who a couple of the others were, I'm like, well, shit, they're not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy. That guy's got a much bigger name than I do and all that. And then
that's wild.
Then it went down to 4, and then it's like, okay, we're down to 2, and I'm like, I'm still surprised that I'm still one of the 2. And then they had called me about 6-8 weeks before A1, going into 22, and said, you're our guy. And
they didn't make you
they didn't tell
time you on an obstacle course or
no.
We got a couple guys we're looking at.
Every time they called him, he's like, I don't care about your stupid job. Leave me alone.
They're like, I want
they're
this
like,
now.
man, I like that attitude.
And it increased them wanting you.
It was funny.
No means yes.
Yes.
At that time, Jeremy Appleton was he was the global director of racing that they put in that, and he had flown to Texas over from the UK, and we spent 10 hours in my office talking, and I mean, when he left, I told one of my sales reps, I go, that guy's never going to come back here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But
right.
I can now finally tell you, since the dust is settled, it was you and Nick Blackman.
Oh, was it?
That was the same guy.
I was the other guy.
That was you just didn't know.
The deciding factor came down to they looked at everything you had and everything you'd done. and then they looked and realized I didn't know anything and hadn't done anything.
And once they realize that, then they're like, man, why aren't we looking at Nick Blackman? Bobby Hewitt's sitting right here.
He wants to do it.
Yeah, I know it was tough for them, and they let me that. They gave me a little severance anyway.
Even though you didn't work for him.
I got a T-shirt.
Well, you had expenses. You traveled out there.
Yeah, a T-shirt.
So
Took me around. I got to ride on the back with somebody.
Now that I know that, they should have chosen you.
I mean,
Right.
look at him. He's flexing.
Yeah.
He's doing his biceps the whole time.
Right now, you can't
Am I-
stop it.
Look at him.
He doesn't even know.
Stop it,
Just
dude.
be flexing
And
in
he's
his
at least
sleep.
20 years younger than I am. So.
I bet he's not.
You'd be surprised.
I bet he's
But,
the same age.
But no, part of it was, some of the other teams and people that they were talking to had some of them had full infrastructure, and some of them, had bits and pieces, and, I had been completely out of it, so I had sold everything. I've been gone for, at that time, over a year, and by the time it fully came around, it was almost 2 years. So, I'm like, I have nothing. All I have is me.
Yeah, but
I can put it together, but
from
you're
their
going to pay
standpoint,
for it.
like from their standpoint, with me just thinking about it, I don't know who other than me. I don't know who the other four guys were, but you have started from scratch.
Yeah.
So they were kind of starting from scratch. So
Yeah.
you need a guy that started from scratch, and you've done that.
And I was going to ask Ricky that, and kind of you can expound on this. Ricky has been a part of bike changes. Like, he's moved from manufacturer to manufacturer. He knows how to work with the team.
He knows
create a
how
new
to
bike.
adjust a motorcycle to
Right.
grab seconds on the track.
He's
That's
been
right.
he's
Pops
been through-
wheelies.
He's
can
made
pop a wheelie.
he's made big changes when he went to Suzuki, when everybody was like, "What?" Back then, Suzuki was not a premier brand.
Well, he left Honda.
and he went there with Roger, and they did
go
that.
to Suzuki.
Right, which is unheard of. He's done his own team. He's won a championship, so he's got a wealth of experience to offer too, just from that aspect.
I love Ricky.
You can talk junk. He's literally 10 feet from us.
He'll be the first one to tell you. I go, you're the goat to everybody else, but to me, you're just redheaded Ricky.
Yeah.
Good.
It's
Somebody
kind of
needs to.
brown these days, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
what
he's
happened?
he's slim and trim these days.
Yeah, he's fit.
looking
He's
good.
fighting
for
weight.
sure.
Fighting
He's
weight.
looking
Yeah.
fit for sure.
But
I smell comeback.
no,
No,
it
he
was-
doesn't.
He does not.
It's been a great journey. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say we haven't had challenges and that we won't have additional challenges, but
Look, I smell comeback. We're here purely to start
start false rumors.
unfounded rumors. is
That's
what we're
mainly
here
our
to do.
goal.
it's one of those things. I love being in the underdog world.
Heck yeah.
We're not. No one's going to expect us to win. No, that's a nice role to be in. I mean, it's just.
yeah, the pressure's kind of off. You can move, right?
Well, the good thing is Triumph's really given me the freedom, and I think it's really important. I'm not the most technical guy. I can tear down a bike, I can put it back together. Can I do it as well as my mechanics? Absolutely not. Do I know the chassis as well as Dave Arnold does? Absolutely
Right.
not. I understand it. Same way with the motor with Dudley, and I really think that your role as whether you're a team owner or a team manager, is to manage people and to put together a foundation of a group of people that together
Yes.
we're the best of the best.
You want people smarter than you at certain
Absolutely.
things. You can't do it all.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
need those people.
Well,
The
you gotta-
analogy I always tell everybody is like, look, I can do a budget, I can read a P&L, I can do all the accounting that it is, but I'm not a certified CPA.
Right.
But although I understand it, my accountant is probably the best accountant that I feel like I can
Yeah.
get. And it's the same concept is that, I understand the chassis and how it works, can work on it, same way with the motor, but that's not my specialty.
Sure.
My specialty is putting together people, working closely with the riders. This sport is just as much mental as it is mechanical.
That's true.
Well,
And
we can go right into Jason Anderson because you mentally, I love your style. When you talk about management, you just said, dude, you need to go home for a little
Need
while.
you to head home for a bit,
And it worked.
get your stuff in order, and come back and give
Right.
us what you got.
well,
It's a cool story.
I've had great team managers in the past, and I had Bill Keefe, Ed Torrance, who started out with me, and then Bill Keefe and Dave Gowan, and all those guys. And everybody has a different management style. And with riders and things, it's just as much mental. And sometimes you got to be best friends. Sometimes you got to be parents. Sometimes you are the
Psychologist,
therapist.
yes.
I tell everybody, I probably know more about the riders than their wives and their girlfriends do. But I've always told them, I go, look, you don't have to be perfect all the time, but you do have to be perfect when it's time. And
That's right.
when it's time to play,
gonna use
you know,
that one.
I want you to go burn the candle at both ends. I don't necessarily want to know about it, but I want you to go be a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. And if you get in trouble and you find yourself in a spot, I hope I'm the first guy that you call. I'm not going to judge you for it. I've been there. I probably did it 10 times worse than you did.
And you didn't start a podcast to tell about all the dumb stuff you did?
You should have.
No.
Yeah, you should have done
I
that.
did, you know.
You're
We
on
heard-
here.
I tell everybody.
We hear that's the thing to do.
Yeah, we
You know.
hear they're talking about that. Well,
Right.
let me sort of, it's not much of a switch, but let's go back to the facility. Is this the type of thing where we're paying an engineer to draw it, and we're hiring grading contractors to grade it, or is this more of, hey, it's already a track, we're not really
No,
like
Like
building permits and things like that? Because I mean,
all
you
of
kind of
that
come
stuff.
from that world.
Yeah, I mean, construction background, build
Yeah.
houses and remodeling, so maybe that's why I got it. I don't know. You know,
They
the
need it built.
position, but-
Once this thing's built,
He's
we'll let
out.
him go.
Yeah, he's
Well,
But-
we're going to be down there. We were talking to
Monday
Rod. We'll
morning.
be down there pretty early to start. We got to put some bikes together, bring our tools.
He's gonna make
So-
us cut grass too. By the
Yeah,
way,
John knows a lot about landscaping, so if we need to,
A day in the life.
I can handle. I can bring
we cut
bush
some-
hogs,
yeah,
mowers,
we-
whatever.
we need to
Well, the
bush
big
hog
joke
some.
with all my staff is don't get on the grass. Don't get. Oh my God! Do not touch the grass. Bobby
very
will
important.
lose
He's the
his
old
shit.
man. Get off my lawn.
Stay
That's what
off
Bobby
my
just said.
grass, please.
Just sits there.
Whippersnappers.
Daggone it.
No, we've done a lot with the facility. Like I said, Matt had it set up really nice for the way that he was. I mean, there's 50 RV spots and 40 of them were full when I took it over. So
Yeah.
You got
obviously,
24 hours. You kicked the shit out of them guys.
No, we
I'm
gave
gonna
them
auction
much longer
everything
than
off
that.
if you're not out of here.
I'm kidding. I know.
There was a couple
Just walked
that
around cutting their power cords.
No, at the end there was a couple that I was like, if it's still here next week, you'll find it down the road.
It's got to go.
Yes, it's
It's
got to
gotta
come
go.
off the property. But I was really
Gas
more
can.
referring to. I was really more referring to. I'm sure you got a building inspector for the building.
Yeah.
But site work and all, that's up to your just discretion. It's not really county. There's nothing over there that's county.
No, I mean you still have to go through the same building processes. You know,
So you throw down your silt fence around your clearing for your building.
well, it's you know, I've tried to save any place that we can. Like when we were demoing things, I mean, me and the team, we're in there and we're tearing
Yeah.
down walls and doing all that. When we built the pad for the building, you know, we built the pad.
Yeah.
You know, anything that we can do and I'm familiar with the
Yeah.
construction background, I do. The whole design of it, I mean, again, Feather in Triumph's Cap, I mean, they let me design the whole race shop.
See,
and
that's super
lay
cool.
out the facility and
So you had like a dream wish list of what you wish you could have had as a shop, and you
I
did it.
sold, I not that all of it signed off on, but I mean, in my world, in my dream, was just like with the team. You know, this is Triumph's North American facility. I didn't want it to be just another facility. I wanted it to be the facility. And with 165 acres, the ultimate goal and the ultimate plan is that where this really nice pavilion is going to be built, sometime you can park any Triumph motorcycle that they have, whether it's off-road, cross-country, electric, you know, MX, any of it, and they can test ride it there, right there on the facility.
Oh, that's cool.
With the road course and everything else, and then with their
That's
dealers.
incredible.
that.
I did not know that.
It makes me think of like, you know, I don't know if any of you guys, have you been to the Porsche facility down on the
No,
south
It's
side
near
of
the
that?
airport. When you
Yeah,
fly
it's
out, you can
above
see
my
it.
Yeah, you can see it. And man,
It's got
Porsche,
a road course, an off-road course,
Yeah.
and there's just a
a
fleet of Porsche
museum
vehicles.
with every
Viewing
Porsche.
deck.
I mean,
Something to look at if you
it's
want.
unbelievable. That makes it sounds to me like what you guys are
But
doing.
it-
Something that's just like when you go there to pick up a car, it's an
They
experience.
call it the Porsche experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Well, part of it was, you know, Triumph holds multiple dealer events throughout the year, and they spend, you know, $50,000 to $80,000 for these events to have
have a location.
a location and everything. When they leave, all they have is an invoice. And with us having the ability, it was it's almost a destination point to where because if you really, and I think that one thing that I do understand and welcome and like to be involved in is that racing is part of marketing. You know, what wins on Saturday sells on Monday type thing, and sales and dealers, it's part of my role and responsibility, and I preach this to the staff, is it's part of our job to increase the brand awareness of Triumph. Anything we can do to help them increase sales, whether it's selling another bobber or a scrambler or you know, the new off-road bike, you know, that's part of our role and responsibility, because the better the bike sales are, the more funding
more marketing budget we might have, right?
We get to be able to do those things. So
You're like the Corvette of the Chevrolet fleet, like the sexy toy that sells a lot of trucks and a lot of other things.
So it's
Yeah, it really is. And we talked with Rod, too. It's a way to get these kids on a Triumph branded product, riding this motocross bike, and then they might transition as they get older and they hang up the boots. They might switch to street boots and pick out something else, you know?
You know, as I told Steve Sargent, who was in town from the UK earlier this week, and he's Nick Bloor's the owner and Steve Sargent's number 2. And the nice thing about Triumph is that they love black and white. You can be totally, which fits my style perfectly. You know, you don't have to sugarcoat it. You know. Yeah. When he showed up and he said, "How's it going?" I mean, my first words to him were, "Do you want me to hit you square in the mouth or sprinkle fairy dust over the top of you?" Right. And he goes, "Your choice." I go, "Oh, well, I'm gonna hit you in the mouth." But they're very direct. But you know. We have a 7-year plan, and at the end of those 7 years, I mean, it'll be a destination that encompasses all of Triumph. It's not just another training facility where our racetrack is. It's actually being built and developed and laid out to encompass Triumph as a whole company. You know, for OEM development, to us training, to working in conjunction with the dealer network and everything.
Will you ever do you foresee being the public being able to just cruise down there and watch these dudes ride? Is there a way to get over there and see that? Like,
well,
publicly?
And that's part of
sometimes
that part's above my pay grade. I mean, the part of it is to be able to, you know, even if Rick here at Freehwheeling, you know, in his dealership, if he wanted to hold an event there and you know, that's similar to what he's doing here. You know, that ultimately that is the dream, and I think it's very important. Yes,
that's unique.
Winning races on the weekend is our priority, but Triumph's goal and vision, Rod has driven this into my head. You know, decap. It's got to be distinctive, cool, authentic, and premium. Yeah. If it doesn't meet those 4 criteria, whether it's a bike, whether it's clothing, anything that they do, it has to meet those 4. Yeah. If it doesn't, then they don't do it. And they've taken that same mindset and concept with this facility. So when it's all completed and finished, it will be a destination place that involves the whole company as a whole, not just us and the racing program.
Well, I would imagine, Bobby, like, you know, you being in racing for as long as you have, and you're always chasing some seconds. You're chasing seconds on the racetrack, try to be a little faster. This probably is a learning and eye-opening experience for you as well, because now this motorcycle, there's all kinds of criteria. Like, you were dealing with a motorcycle that was designed before, and you were given it, and your riders tried to improve it to meet their demands as the season wore on. This time, hey man, we don't have the motorcycle yet. We're going to build it. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be eye-opening and sort of interesting and exciting and all that.
I've learned a lot in the last 18 months. I mean, it's a much different process when you're designing, building a bike from the ground up. You know, at Husqvarna, yes, we relaunched it in North America, but, you know, there was a huge support program behind it, and it was, you know, 75%. You know.
Good base already.
75%, the other name.
Yeah. But but this is, you know, and, you know.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I have got my hand slapped a couple of times just on.
I can't believe it.
How do you design, like, from the ground up? You're designing something. You obviously got input from Ricky.
Well, they know the wheels will be round.
Yeah, the wheels are round.
We tried the square; they didn't work.
Yeah, it's just too bumpy.
Good in Supercross though.
Real
They go
good.
right into whoops.
Yeah, decided to go with knobby tires.
One of the things that this concept isn't a new concept for Triumph. This is actually 7 or 8 years ago is when it went from an idea to actually going on, writing on a piece of paper. And then, 4 years or so ago is when it really went into full swing. So I came in, 2.5 years after the process had already started. There's been an enormous amount of changes in things, and that is the nice thing that, working with Dudley and Dave and myself and the engineers, there's been a lot of suggestions and things that, because of the homologation rules and everything here in the U.S., that they've made some significant changes in the bike that, has improved the bike in performance and everything else because of the homologation process. We have to basically take a stock bike and make it a race bike. And on some level, that stock OEM bike has to be close enough that we can get it to where we need it.
Right.
And
it's got to be a decent motorcycle before the race team can win
Well,
on it.
and that's kind of where I was going earlier. The question was, how do you, and we talked about this, how do you, like if you, from the ground up, it would be easy to design a bike that Ricky or Evan or a factory rider could ride, but then how do you design one that they can ride, but then a jackass like us could ride at the same time?
Fortunately for me, they have phenomenal engineers, and they had done a lot of the hard work before I actually got involved. I tell everybody, the nice thing about, the frame design where it's a single back versus, a perimeter design frame for the Japanese brands or the steel frame thing, the one thing that everyone that's been on the bike and tested it, it's all 9 out of 10 times it's the same comment when they're finished riding. I can't believe how well it handles, and the way the power transfers to the ground, and the trail. And
this is coming from a rider from varying skill levels, like
various
like
skill
us.
levels. Yes, Ricky's been very involved. Yes, we have.
Y'all haven't called Kevin. And I thought for sure he'd be on the
crappy
sort of the short list.
Yeah. If they really want a vet's perspective of it, they put me on it. But
So you do ride the bike sometimes, and
as I tell everybody, because used to ride with the guys and everything, I said, but before anyone on the team will see me on the bike on the dirt, I will spend a month or two
getting ready
after everybody's gone
before you ride. Yes, we know
because it's
about
always
that.
the same thing. It's when we do a team ride or anything, everybody's trying to park my ass in the corner.
Exactly. You shouldn't have got on over their tail last week.
Here we go, son.
No.
Hey, has Triumph ever thought about having naked male models on their machines in the marketing department?
No,
you never thought about that, having naked people on the motorcycles. Anthony Bennett.
He's not even paying attention.
So
He's way over there.
We had our bikes loaded for a race to go to in Ohio, and all of a sudden here comes these pictures, and it's a naked man laying on our race bikes, which were
in his trailer.
Yes, he broke
In
into
his
our
driveway.
trailer and did like a photo shoot, and then he's in this room somewhere.
He's
So I just joking. I'm just throwing.
But that
throwing
really
heat.
does happen. So there's a group of these guys that anytime any of this 30 or so of your buddies gets a new bike, there is an assault of this motorcycle. It will break into your house and take naked photos, and at the end of the year, all the photos
goes
make
into a
into
big-
a calendar.
big calendar.
And they give the calendars out. So
We can probably get you one, if y'all need it for the shop or whatever.
you don't
No.
want that. It's
It
fine.
needs to surface in somebody's toolbox, and then you blow them out like, dude, what's up with this calendar?
It would be funny to put in somebody's toolbox.
yeah, no, I can
and
do
then
that.
then
We
blow
get
them
you a
out
copy of
for
that.
being weird,
We'll
right?
get
Yeah.
you some of those calendars, hand them out for Christmas.
But
So-
no, the thing about it, the one thing I would love to do, I've always been, and again, I'm not a marketing guy of any kind,
Yeah.
and I don't claim to be, but, in our industry, this is such a great journey to go on. I mean, we're starting from ground zero, not only with the bike, but we're starting with the facility and everything. And I think there's a huge interest in just the journey, the building the facility and the changes that we have made and the things that we have done. I also think that it gives Triumph a lot of credibility, because I'm always fighting the crap that everybody says, well, what happens if they don't have sales? And,
right.
When you're talking to riders and staff, and I'm like, well, first of all, my agreement's unheard of in our industry.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you've got a 7-year plan, so we're not.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got a goal, and it's way out there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's one of those things that, it just, for lack of better words, it shut everybody up on the investment in which Triumph's making. I mean, they're spending millions and millions of dollars, not only on research and development and production, but they're also spending millions of dollars in building a permanent facility here in the U.S. You don't do that if you're only going to come in for a year or two.
Fly by night, right? None of that.
It is definitely a full set program and plan. I mean, we've got additional off-road bikes that are already in development and planning, and so we'll have a full line eventually of off-road bikes, all the way from minis all the way through the 450. So
it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Has there ever, and I've always wondered this, and you're a team principal, so how have we not had a covered Supercross track to train on? Have you guys thought of that? Are you going to do it? You're going to do it, aren't you?
Look at his smile.
I've always
Look at his face.
Finally, I've mentioned this. I'm like,
it seems so
you should
obvious.
never. Yeah, you should never travel,
especially in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's our unfounded rumor that got a smile.
Yeah.
I like it. I like
All
it.
I'd like to say is there'll be one somewhere in the state of Georgia.
Love it. I've never understood why there's not. There's Ricky circulating around. I think his autographs are done. Do you have any questions for us? Anything you want to know about Nick's calves or triceps?
86 XR250.
Yeah, we had a big 86 XR250 showing this year.
Hey.
No, I'm just honored to, like the advertisement said, Ricky Carmichael and whoever else
we can
and the other guys.
You had to go pretty low in the barrel to find somebody. But
That's the problem with hanging out with Ricky or somebody like that. You can hang out with us,
and it'd
you're
be like,
you're
hey,
a
Bobby
big deal,
and Nick.
right? Yeah.
Just be like, you'd be one of the boys.
Like
you got to ask him about the triple, though.
Wow. Okay.
the triple.
The triple.
All right, we'll ask him about the triple.
The motorcycle?
Yeah, the triple on the motorcycle when he was testing and me egging him on.
Oh.
Well, Bobby, what was your first motorcycle? First time you rode a motorcycle?
First time I rode a motorcycle was an Indian 60.
Indian 60.
Sean's got an Indian 50.
Yeah, Sean's got an Indian 50.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Indian 60.
Well, back then, you had steel frame mini bikes with a brigand strap. I mean,
and like no suspension, right?
Full
start.
I mean,
Just a hard core.
That's really what I
And those
started.
foot pegs didn't fold or nothing. They
were welded
They
on.
were welded out, and they just impale you or something.
Kevin's dad owned a dealership and bought him one from Sears.
More or less.
Owned a Cowie dealer and bought him just.
A KD80 is the worst motorcycle ever.
Have you ever heard of that, Bobby?
My brothers were both Team Green riders. They were really good dirt bike riders, and my dad goes, "You're not good. You get a crappy motorcycle."
You're not good. We'll go ahead and predestine that.
Sucks,
I
man.
remember when I got the YZ80. That was really, to me, that was like, oh my God.
As well, that we talk about this
It was
sometimes.
just like cutting edge. It was
Yeah.
fast.
The fastest motor we talked one day on the show. The fastest motorcycle I've ever ridden was my 81 KX80. You know what I mean? Like it's all relative in
To you,
perception.
in your brain,
Correct.
yes.
In my brain, I got on that thing and I thought it was the fastest.
The biggest difference, towards the end when I was on 125s and everything, I mean, you were on Honda. I mean, my age.
What year?
78, 79, 8.
The old Red Rockets.
Tripes.
And so but they set much lower than.
Yeah, they were low riders.
Dude.
4 and
you look
7
at
inches
the
of
travel
travel.
on those bikes
Yeah,
and things,
nothing.
and you're like, and
It's
then you get
amazing
on
your
the
back
ones
is
today.
still straight.
Yeah.
A 125 is about like a Super Mini now.
Yeah.
About the size and wheelbase or all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And stuff. So
Yeah, even up to like 83. Like I saw when we were at Mid Ohio, it was like an 81 or 83 Elsinore 125. And I was like, God, you know,
Well, Nick, that's impossible.
it's tiny, whatever, not an Elsinore.
I mean, 83, it wasn't called an Elsinore by 83.
I understand that was
Don't-
like 78.
Don't insult it.
Yeah.
It's like the Olympics. They come every 4 years.
Listen,
I mean,
this is why Bobby didn't want you on the show.
Well,
That's
I
right,
mean-
right there.
They should have done more
Bobby,
than
we
make a
tried
phone
to-
call.
we
They should have
tried to-
done something in writing.
Which,
no, I've been very fortunate. My whole family, we always had motorcycles. My mom rode, my dad rode.
Oh, that's cool.
I rode, raced and everything else. Even when my kids, Hunter got into it, I'm like, absolutely not.
Please don't do
this.
this.
It's not if you get
Okay.
hurt, but when you get hurt, I just don't want to do it. But, the one person that was most excited about me in this deal was my dad. He was a
That is
die-hard Triumph guy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
To the point that when I bought my Hondas and things that I had to, he would not allow a Japanese brand in his garage.
That's some Pearl Harbor leftover stuff right there.
For real.
And he wouldn't. And
Never
I got
forget.
him to pull out all the old photos of his Triumph. You're talking about, late 60s, early 70s. And back then, they'd take a Bonneville and they'd strip
Take
it
the- everything
down.
down. It's a
and,
dirt bike now.
chop it out. And do all
Scrambler.
that stuff.
That's what my dad
I mean,
did. Same deal. Same deal.
He's got, I think I cried like a baby when I was 13 or something like that because he sold it. It's candy apple red and it's got snakeskin, gold flake on the side of it. It was like, in my mind, that was my bike.
It was gonna be.
It was gonna be.
Dang.
But that went right.
Well, that's
out
full
the
circle
garage.
then. He's got to be. I'm sure you're super stoked on that then.
Yeah.
Has he been out to see the place yet?
No, he has not.
So before we let you go, we're going to drag Ricky. He's over there barking. You hear him?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he's
sounds
got his
just
time
like a
set.
dog.
Hey, settle down, dude.
that's
we'll
a
get
cool
you
trick.
on.
That's
Chill
one of
out.
his party tricks.
But you just sold everything in Texas, drug a fifth wheel over here, and said, "Here we go."
Just live in a
obviously
camper, man. I'm cool.
We still have the house in Huntington, but sold my business and everything in Texas. Sold the house. Everything in Texas is gone.
You messed with Texas.
Yeah. Well, I called Rod. I called Rod when I was the last trip out, coming out here. It's like, for the first time in my life that I can think of, I don't own, live, operate, or even have a Texas driver's license. For the first time, it was a weird.
weird.
feeling.
Yeah, that's wild.
But also then I turned around and I bought a fifth wheel trailer and I parked it on the site because it was like the only way that I knew that things would get done and in the time frame in which we needed it was if I lived on site. So I live in a fifth wheel
So
trailer.
you've worked
I'm
your
so
tail
glad.
off.
I'm so glad I didn't take that job now.
But
Yeah.
it was also, I told him, I said, look, I'm going to live here for sure for the first 3 years because.
We're trying to get him to wrap it up,
Come
man.
on, Rick.
Hey, all right, I'll wrap it.
Just sit on Nick's
Ricky.
lap. You got to face him, though.
You're not that important. But
He's just that redheaded
yeah.
guy from Tallahassee or something.
Yes.
well, it's his agent. It's like, hey, we got a time schedule.
Yeah,
We
he's
gotta
like, hey,
keep
we
it."
agreed to this.
What's that?
Exceeded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
anyway,
didn't know that. We should have had a signal. We should have been like, hey, Ricky, when we do this
All right.
signal.
I appreciate
like-
you guys having
Awesome.
me.
Thank you,
Ricky's
Bobby.
getting all upset.
I think we could
about
keep
those
Bobby all
coffee
day,
on me.
man.
Ricky's going all prima donna, telling you to get out of the seat.
You're on TV. You're here. You're there. Oh, hop on in. You can do a hot mic swap. Thank you.
Well, Ricky was upset when he first got here because my picture was on the TV and his
Oh,
wasn't.
he was
It's-
tore up
it's-
about that.
it's
It's like, why is this playing?
Anyway.
Oh, his
anyway.
phone's always crooked.
Hey, I always said marketing's something I do.
Hey, you got to know how to take those photos.
Yeah, the fish can either be that big.
Yeah,
or
it can be
that
gigantic. We
How
need
you
that
go?
I'll
big
jump
fish.
off. Hey,
That's
I'll
right.
jump off.
Yeah, yeah.
before
Jump
he
in.
has
Do a
a
hot
heart
swap.
attack.
Jump
Here
right
we
in,
go.
Ricky.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. That's Bobby Hewitt, the
Bobby
real
Hewitt.
boss.
I could talk to Bobby Hewitt all
Bobby.
day.
Come here, Bobby. There we go. We're just going to swap it up right here. He's got some good reading here.
Ricky wrote a book while he was doing some signing.
AI.
Hey,
man.
is Rod still here? I went over to I went over to France for the Motocross of Nations, and I went to Le Mans, and they have a 1913 Triumph.
Did you say Le Mans?
Le Mans.
Le Mans.
I went to Le Mans.
The N is silent.
Le
I
Mans.
went to the 24-hour
So is the
Le Mans.
D.
Oh, yeah, it's like Diffie was like.
I went to
did
Le
petit-
Mans.
He's like, he was out up here. He was calling Petit Le Mans, and I just laugh at him
Le Mans.
every
Petit Le
time. Every
Mans.
time he says this, dude. You guys' audio is right.
Well, it hasn't been for
crispy.
90%. Kevin just cut down.
I mean,
John calls it Lamond, like Greg Lamond.
you know what they say? It's
Lamond.
like, you want it? You got to spend money to make money,
Well, we don't know about that.
right? No.
Well,
But we know that
we're spending it,
We know that, we are.
making it.
You're looking at a long-term investment
Yeah.
here, right?
We got a
We got a-
10-year, a 30-year, and a 50-year plan. You
That's
guys
right.
got a
Sure.
3, a 5, and a 7, so
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
it sort of seems like we know what we're doing.
we do
Yeah.
not. We
Yeah.
barely put this thing together.
So
Just-
what's up, boys? Thanks for having me on again.
But
This is
hey,
my second time, by the
You
way.
are a
The first two-time customer.
guest.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel lucky, man.
I mean, we've almost run through all the guys we know. We like
Hey,
to
you're at if you
We're at
have
the back
me,
at the
if,
top of
what
the
I
order.
have learned in this business is that you are at the bottom of the barrel if you have to have me on.
No, that's why
I
it's
highly doubt that.
Oh,
Wygant-
Wygant?
Yeah, he's
Dude.
bottom of the.
Oh,
But
so you're
he,
saying
but he
Ricky's
put
one up.
himself in that position. I love the dude. I'm like, dude,
Be better.
don't say no to someone. It's
He does
okay.
not. He does everybody's podcast.
But I will say, and we were having this conversation this year a little bit in the Pro Motocross Championship is, it's paying off for him, and he's working up the ladder in the play-by-play position. So I'm
Yeah,
happy
doing a
for
great
him.
job
The guy
at it.
has put in many years, and I don't know that people understand just how long it takes. And to get to that opportunity, it doesn't take 5-6 years. It takes multiple
It takes breaks.
years.
It takes luck. It takes just
It
being
does.
at the right place
a lot,
at the right time.
A lot of luck. A lot of luck. And
Right place,
and
right time,
politics
like you said.
too.
That's yeah.
Like
that's-
in anything. I mean, you call it politics, but right place, right time, knowing the right people, being kind to people, and
Doing the right thing, not
That's
being
right.
a jerk.
And being on. That's what
You
being
know-
good. Being good on your bad days.
that's right. Hey, you got to be
That
good
was
on your
what
bad
RC
days.
was famous
You
for.
got to.
Yeah.
You got to be a junk man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, one thing I learned early on, Johnny O taught me this, is like, if all you got's third, you got to get third. You can't be worthy of third and get seventh. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm
writing this
So
down.
if you're gonna
Take
be on
notes.
if you're gonna be on the podium, like, all right, I don't have a win tonight. Okay, well, I don't have a win, but I
Don't wreck your possible podium.
I can't turn a podium finish into a fifth by trying to win when it's never gonna happen. Make sense?
How long did it take you to feel it and recognize this is that moment where I've got to take a third?
Great question. I learned it a lot in the end of '97, racing K-Dub, to where there were times where I'm like, you know what? I don't have it today. I can't beat him unless he gets tired or he messes up. I knew that limit. So that was the first time I really recognized it. I was able to put it to good use throughout the 120 in '98, all of '98,
Yep.
and then I kind of fell off of that wagon when I went from 125
big bike.
to big bikes. Yeah, kind of like I should have been taking like seventh, but I was going for
Still going
But
for
you didn't have it in
checkers
you.
or wreckers, baby. Checkers or wreckers.
Dude, it was-
So, So I forgot everything that I had learned, but then I picked it back up again, tail end of 2000, MX Outdoors, and figured it out from there.
It's
But
the
that's
orange
more
gear
impressive
years.
for you to be able to take that advice because you always had that dog that I'm going to win or kill everybody in front to do it.
I always look back too, and I'm like, I learned so much in '99 and 2000 that really shaped my career from 2001 on. Would I trade it? I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think, like I said, that shaped me to the champion that I became at the elite level. Had I not learned those lessons, maybe I wouldn't have had the success that I did.
The lessons are crashing like crazy instead
Yeah.
of just reeling it in a little to stay in third or
I
fifth.
think Kevin over here don't like me, dude. He doesn't like.
He's irritated. He got evil eye, dude.
I love Ricky
I mean,
Carmichael.
Stank
it's like,
eye.
and it's like he never, like when we're on, Iser would always be doing the heavy lifting, and I'm like,
Well,
dude,
he has a lazy
Kevin
side,
don't like
yeah.
me. Like, what's
No,
up with that?
He makes his wife cut the grass, dude. He has a
that's
lazy
no lie.
streak.
When
It's
we
like
go
a mile
when we do
wide.
the show at his house, His wife's always cutting the grass.
Always.
Washing cars.
Washing cars.
She lifted a lawnmower.
Sounds like you got a good
Think I've
deal.
done it right.
I mean, hey, you know what a good deal is.
It's
right?
awkward for us when he's like, this better be done.
No,
by
he's
9.
got it figured out. I'm the same way. Like, I purposefully don't do things the right way so we can. I like to support the economy
Yeah,
in situations like
I
that.
get that too.
You'll see her. You'll see the window. You say,
Yeah,
got
we're like,
5
what's that
acres.
noise,
She's
man?
got, hey, we're talking about the old
a
movies
push mower
earlier.
on
It ain't
5
even
acres, Ricky.
self-propelled?
Yeah.
it is self-propelled. It's a
Oh,
Honda.
okay.
Yeah, we at least got that.
He's giving her the old Back to the Future. Now, honey, be sure 2 coats of wax, Biff. I
I'm
don't
on
want
my second cut right now, Kevin, I swear.
Christina. And she's
Don't
like,
lie to me.
Yeah, we got to go crosshatch every time.
Yeah, I'm looking for that pattern.
crosshatching that.
I had to get on my yard, guys, because they were mowing my backyard, and I'm kind of there's kind of a grade, and they were getting like ruts.
No.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah, you gotta
and
cut
kinda
it a
like,
different
nah, And I
direction.
had like they come there. I'm like, hey man, I think maybe we probably should be cutting it a different direction each time. Like, look at these ruts and grooves, and we don't have any ruts or
There you go.
grooves
That's what I
anymore.
did
No,
with my wife.
and honestly, they do an incredible job.
If you're
They
watching, what's the name
absolutely
of their landscape service? Let's go ahead and give them a
No, they do a great job, and yeah.
Is
it was
Christina
just-
cutting Ricky's
Now,
grass?
Honestly, you know
My
what?
wife cuts your grass.
She better not be. She better not be putting ruts because Kevin marks on the calendar.
Yeah.
What?
East,
North.
north.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, this week we're running east. okay?
He doesn't do the lawn, but he's quick to go out there
He'll
and make
mark
sure
that
it's
calendar.
done right.
Oh, that's
See, I'm
Oh,
the
he's
same
an
way.
inspector.
he's
so.
out there with a tape measure measuring the.
That's right. Oh, you were
like-
off. There's 2 blades over here sticking out.
Yeah,
you
you're-
messed up.
that's
How'd you
gonna
mess
You
cost
up?
makes
can
her
call
go
it
out
a
there
day,
with-
but just
That's
cut
going
them.
to cost
He
you.
makes her. Yeah. Hey, he hands her a pair of scissors. Is like,
Don't crank
Now
the mower. We've used enough fuel.
here's the scissors. You go find where you
Dude,
messed
you know
up.
what's crazy is, honestly, I like doing yard work. Dude, weed eating is my thing, dude.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh, yeah.
cool because
I love some
Nick
weed
needs a
eating,
bunch
bro.
of weed eating.
Turns out Nick over there. Turns out Bobby needs a lot of weed eating down at the facility.
Yeah.
Bobby said the same thing though, Ricky.
Yeah,
he likes
what's
mowing.
weird is I only like doing mine. I don't like
Yeah,
doing other
nobody
Oh
people's.
else.
heck no, we're not cutting other people.
No.
My landscapers are good at the yard, but terrible at basketball.
Yeah, you could get Ricky to weed eat,
Dude.
and then y'all could play some basketball.
Have y'all ever found an irrigation guy that like really just gets your sprinklers just perfect?
Yes, I have.
It's
I
him.
know
Are
all
you?
about but he worked for me.
Okay.
And this dude, there was
would
not a
stop.
blade
Are you
of grass
mess- are
that
you
got
messing with
dead
me, dude?
serious. No, dead serious.
Okay.
His
So
name was
he-
Raul.
and
Because
he
I'm
had-
like you, I've never
Raul
had
Hernandez.
irrigation. Hey, I've never had irrigation that either was right or stayed right. Like
No,
I felt like I was,
Oh, yeah.
I was
That's 'cause
always
you didn't
working
have
on
Raul.
it.
Yeah, same time. Or this patch is way too wet, so you got to adjust
You didn't
the
pay
time.
for the platinum package, son. Raul sounds like he brings.
Raul
a-
Hernandez, he was unbelievable.
Oh, dude, they come. They see me coming when I come. They're like,
Oh,
oh,
shit.
we got one today.
Yep, we ain't
Yeah.
leaving.
You
No.
see these petunias, son?
Yeah.
They need lots of water.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
But yet the
and
grass
I'm like,
beside
and I
it.
always tell them, like, dude, I think it's getting funked because there's too much water. Like,
too moist.
I don't want to like sound
you
like I
are
know
like
what I'm
Bobby.
doing,
You're
but
like-
I no, like I made my living on dirt and reading dirt. Like, hey, that's too wet right there. I got to be careful.
That's a great point.
I mean, so I
I
have
washed
an
out on the pit
idea
bike.
of like it is soggy because it's getting too much, too much water.
Well, I hope you guys are enjoying this on Winners Take Y'all. We're talking about yards.
Ricky
I love
Carmichael landscape tips.
it. I love it. This is the
Well, I just-
joy of my life, just talking about anything.
Well, listen, dude. Everyone listening to y'all,
They
you
know
know,
we're
we've
idiots.
always gotten into the weeds about this and that. Who's going to win? What do you think about that? We talk about some great battles. Love telling you, but I like talking about real life
life.
stuff, man.
Yeah, we
So-
usually just stick to like suspension settings and
No, we do not.
And we stick to
Which we know nothing
Nick's,
about.
Nick has a therapy program that he engages in weekly. You probably
this
never done
goes
this.
along with the landscaping.
It's he hires these landscapers, and they come over and they'll do like an hour's worth of work, and then Nick will lower the basketball goal to
But he
about
pays
8
for the
feet.
whole day.
Oh, he'll pay him for the day.
And he dunks on these
But then he
guys.
starts
Wait.
dunking on them to build his self-esteem.
Whenever
'cause
I feel
he's
bad about
smoking these
myself,
yeah, you just
He's
go
got
dunk on these
just
dudes.
ball,
Dead
just backing them
serious.
in.
hey man, it's like $300, and I feel like a million bucks.
Yeah, he
when I'm
leaves
done.
at the end of the day. God, I killed
They're out
every-
there cutting grass. I'm
gotta
inside
do
strapping
it.
my Jordans on. I come out there, I'm like, boom, in your face.
Yeah, he's nonstop flaunting.
Senor Nick wants to hoop, boys.
I'm like, I get the powder out like LeBron and go over there.
Yeah, dude, you don't want to be slipping and stuff when
Yeah.
you're dunking on Mexicans at the
It makes me feel good.
at the end of the yard work.
Yeah.
You never did that, Ricky?
No, no, no.
Oh, that's
no,
crazy.
I
Did not
didn't. No, I
disrespect
wouldn't
other
know.
people.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for the
No, they
the
like
guys.
it. It's a good day.
They're
No,
getting
they
paid.
love it.
Yeah, they're happy.
Really?
Yeah, it's better than weed eating, dude. You're the
How
only
about,
one that
dude,
likes
you know
weed
what
eating.
job
It was
I
way
would
better.
never...
It was way better than what we were doing before.
Yeah.
And
Dude.
now they know every Wednesday's basketball game.
Hey, you know what job I hate, and still like I say hate. I refuse to do it.
All right.
Laying pine straw.
Oh, it's terrible.
Didn't we have that
I
conversation
hate
Yes.
that
the
too.
other day?
You can't clump it. You got to go soft and
We're
Oh,
paying.
spread it
yeah,
out.
like you got to go like this. you
We're
know?
paying. Yeah, there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
technique. We're paying.
We
That's
literally,
right.
yeah.
That's the
We're
technique.
supporting the economy.
Dude, my
Right.
place takes like
50 bales.
no, it doesn't.
That's
it,
why you got to get those
it
fake
takes
little like
900,
mulch.
Yes.
900 bales to do everything.
Dude, just
900. Like I
do-
ain't doing 900
Yeah, you
bales.
got they come to your house. They got that big
big
trailer.
Oh,
trailer.
it's
The
huge.
metal one, you can
I'm
see
like,
the
how many
hay.
red lights did you
With
hit
the-
on the way
with
here?
do they ever leave?
How many
do
red
they
lights
ever
do you
leave
get?
the orange twine laying
Everywhere.
around?
No,
once in a
not
while?
this guy,
No?
Oscar Lopez.
He's got the best.
I know.
I'm like Bobby. I got contractors for that.
I like when the pine straw layers come and they got it all fluffed up, and then you let your dogs out and they just
They just
tear it to
wreck
hell.
the crap out of it.
Oh
You're like,
yeah, it's like, I'm like,
Just
dude, what?
paid for this.
I paid hard-earned money for this, and you just
Yeah,
ruined
the
it
dog.
within 2
you go,
hours.
you go out there and it's all the dogs have pushed it all to one side. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
They had it
bare
all curved.
spots,
They had it all
yeah.
curved up on the edge. They got it fluffed up.
it's hard to own dogs and have nice landscaping.
dude.
It's
Hey,
just tough.
so I have a question for y'all. Do you feel like dogs take more time and are harder logistically to keep track of if, say, you and your wife want to go on a weekend somewhere
you're planning-
compared to kids?
100%. I will vet a dog sitter more than I'll drop my kid off with anybody.
Listen,
I don't
son,
give a damn. I'll leave you with
I ain't
anybody.
leaving my dog with you until we answer these questions.
I got a 94 question test. I need a background check. My kids will go with an Uber driver. I'll send them. I don't even know
Look,
where
man,
they're
just
going.
keep giving him new destinations.
I contemplated hiring a full-time Uber driver for my kids when they turned 16 because I was scared to death
Hey,
of
I don't
them
blame you.
driving.
Them driving.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm like, I just pay for
Oh,
a
they're-
driver.
Yeah, and
Listen,
that's 2 kids at one time
when you're-
turning 16.
Yeah, when your
right?
kid turns 16 and they pull the driveway the first time and drive off,
That's not a good
that's
feeling.
not a good feeling.
Especially when you can hear the radio like kind of
Yeah.
like bumping. You're
Come
like,
on,
dude,
man. At
your
least wait
first
till you-
day. I mean, at least
Get out of
I
my
mean,
sight.
I'm like, yo, I'm right here, dude.
Right?
Let me.
I bet RC never turned the radio up when he was cruising. There's no way.
Yeah, but the difference was like I was driving when I was 11, 12 years old.
yes,
you know
true.
what I mean?
Equipment and all kind of stuff.
And
there was nobody on the road.
Cell phones.
No
Hey.
cell phones and no traffic.
When I was 16, dude, I was at the DMV waiting for him to open up.
100%.
And now they don't care. They'll
No,
go.
they don't.
They
months,
make appointments
months.
way
They don't
out.
care. They don't care if
Oh,
they don't
well,
drive
that-
for
You
another
know
8
why?
months.
Because we give them rides. We say,
Everywhere.
where y'all need to go.
Well, that way they can be on their phone.
I didn't do
while
that for my
they're going
kids.
there.
I didn't do that. I said, you're
Dude.
getting your driver's license the day you
I'll
turn
never
16.
forget when my kids started to drive when they had their learner's permit. They're like, "Hey, let's go down to the office, my wife's office downtown," and they just kind of like, "Well, how do I get there?" I'm like, "Dude,
You've been riding in this car
we've
for-
been riding in the car we've been going this way for
Years.
4 years."
You don't have a
And
clue.
you mean like, I don't know.
That's how their brains shut off. They look at that dumb phone. They don't even realize they're moving until they arrive. They're like, whoa.
Dude,
dang.
they don't know the streets
No- they
that
don't know
they
nothing.
drive on.
Nothing. I took my kids,
Anything.
all of us,
Anything.
my wife and all kids, 4 kids, to Mammoth. We flew into Vegas, and then we all
Right.
start driving. It's in the desert, and
Yeah.
then the Sierras start coming up out of the nowhere. Their heads, all I saw was like, man, look at this. And nobody would look. Nobody would ever look. And finally, we get to 8,000-foot mountains. They're like, whoa, those are big. I'm like, you idiot. They've been there for like 9 hours. We've been looking at it. It's amazing.
That's the one thing out west. You can see those mountains, and they
For
look
3
like they're
hours.
right there.
It's 3
But
hours
that's
away.
112 miles away, and it doesn't look like it. They're huge.
I did for a while when I guess my kid was 16 or 17 and we'd travel. I would, like, we'd get off the plane, get in the car, go rent a car or whatever, and I'd say, put your phone up.
Come
you
on.
cannot look at your phone.
It is hard
And
to
you're gonna
enforce
have
that.
to, even if we're in the ghetto, I don't care if we were in Detroit. I don't care where-
Especially
like,
when you're in the ghetto.
You need to look
You need
around.
to have a
You
head
on
to
extra
see-
watch.
Well, just look around and see what's, you know what I mean? Like, instead of right there.
Take it in, dude.
I would
Totally.
force them to put their phone in their pocket and
Yeah, without a
at
doubt.
dinner.
So one thing I learned, going
Force
to
them
the,
to buy dinner.
No, force
Right.
it. Yeah.
No, he didn't force them to
He
buy
still
dinner.
hasn't bought dinner. He's 24.
Yeah, well, it's coming.
Right?
One thing, though.
texting you?
No, I was making sure my kids were okay, actually, because I hadn't, so there you go.
Check on them.
But you know the
Daddy
dogs
stuff.
are
They get,
okay
like,
because you got
that
to
didn't have anything that said 911. That's kind of our code. Like if it's like
For real.
stop whatever you're doing right now. It's just and,
Yeah, you
and you're
gotta have
never
that.
allowed to use it. Like because then it's like playing possum.
It's like crying wolf, man.
So it's like,
Don't
dude,
cry
it
wolf.
just, unless something
Yeah.
bad,
real.
don't ever send that signal. So that's all. Didn't see.
Hey,
So,
look,
dude, what are we going to talk about? I know you want to drill me on something.
No,
I do.
I know we can't dive into the specifics of the bike. We're not there to release any of that real stuff info. So that's cool. But
Well,
like,
I mean, you saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw, and we were riding. Like you saw the components. You saw everything. You know the.
foot peg.
No, you guys stop it.
the
You
axle,
guys.
the week y'all released the axle, I was like, whoa.
I'm not.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm
We're-
not.
we're
I am,
weird.
hey, I'm not. That's above my pay grade. I ain't
No.
part of the rollout plan.
Let me tell you though, I think that was a great idea. I don't have a problem with that at all because it got everybody talking.
Yeah.
oh, they
Everybody-
all talked
I
about
think
it. For
I
sure.
think the unfortunate thing I think we can all talk about is anything in social media for the most part is I bet it's 60% negative.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
the problem, and that's
No.
why you have to
Probably.
And
So it's
unfortunately,
just
you have to
like-
ignore almost
Yeah,
all of
you
it
do.
because of
Might
that.
be more than that.
So,
But let's don't
yeah,
talk
the
about
bike,
that
dude,
part.
the bike is awesome. I think what I think. Listen, I wanted the thing to be out. It's actually a good thing that they didn't release the pictures and the photos when I wanted them to do it, because so much had changed from that. And then like every time I go to headquarters, like,
Oh,
this out. What do you think about
how do
that?
you
It looks
feel
like
about
this now.
hey? Now how do you feel if we would have done it? I'm like, yeah. I said that's why you guys are the pros at it, and I'm not. So. I think what a lot of people don't understand is throughout the testing process and why things take so long is because when you make a substantial change to whether it's an engine, whether it's a chassis, whether it doesn't matter, whether it's a hard part on the bike, you have to then go build it. You build certain, several iterations of that, and then you go test it. Now that the direction you're wanting to go, you might nail it, you might not, but it needs to be better. So hopefully, with tooling and dime and engineering and CAD, it's a lot easier and more efficient for these engineers to get it right when you're going for that.
How
for
quickly can
that
you turn
look.
it around? Like when you say, I want this
Well,
to
that's the
change.
thing. I mean, it's different. Luckily for Triumph, everything is done in-house. They don't outsource anything. So we're able to move a lot like the Austrian brands did. That's how they were able to move, and that's how I feel like when Raj and Ian went over there, if Dunge needed a part, boom, they had it within a week. They didn't have to go through the red tape like the Japanese brands. And so they, in a Japanese brand, if you want a part or a piece made, it needs to go through the R&D process and safety process and reliability process.
So weeks
and
and
dude,
weeks.
by that time, half the series is over and you're losing points. So it just depends on what part and piece that you're making. I mean, if you're talking about going from an aluminum chassis to a steel chassis or a steel chassis to aluminum chassis, those things take a long time. It can take months. So we knew that it needed to be right the first time it came out, because there is something to be said for you only get one chance at a first impression.
Yep.
And we knew that we were going to be judged, and we knew that it needed its own identity, and that's so what you guys saw in the bike that you've seen is what we came to the conclusion with, and what we feel is the best for whether it's comfort, performance, at a base level riding, or at the pinnacle of SMX. So, it takes a while, and trust me, it was as frustrating for me as it was for the fans wanting to see it. But the buzz was cool, and we're ready to go, and it's finally here.
I think that the social media negativity, like you feel it. I don't feel any of that for this bike, man. I'm excited, for them to come
it's
back
fun.
and come in there, man. That is like.
Dude, it's a sexy looking bike.
Yeah,
it has
it
its
is.
own identity.
It's awesome.
And I think, in going back to, and we'll land this plane, and I do, it gets me heated up, because I just felt like there wasn't an appreciation for everything that went on. What people have to understand, and I want them to realize, is this started at a baseline 0. It wasn't like
Right.
other manufacturers going and buying a label and then just stamping out everything a copy and a paste.
Yeah.
That is completely different. And I know we have some smart fans that know what's going on, and so that's why it took so long. It's not just like we go buy another label and then pow, stamp it out and just put a different color on there, different color plastic.
Yeah.
This was.
You mean somebody's done that in the past?
Stop
it.
Without naming
Really?
names, you know what I mean? So that's why I am so proud of what we built, and I think once people are able to ride the bike and it's on the showroom floors, I think that they will appreciate the development and the design, and it's a Triumph brand.
Kevin's building a bike in his basement with his 3D printer, and
He thinks
he's
can
probably going to
compete.
be big. He made a woman one time back in the 80s.
Yes.
The Weird
Science.
Science.
You've seen the movie.
I have not seen Weird
That's
Science.
good, Ricky.
Is
You'll
that
be all
good?
right. It's a
So is
Is that
classic
a good one too?
It's one
Yeah.
you need to
If
wear
you-
out.
So what's the,
We
what's
know
the
your
mood?
genre now. That's it. You
It
got to go
is?
watch that. Yeah, you got to
Yes.
watch. It is your
Anthony
it's,
Michael
it's
Hall.
your stuff.
It's Weird Science. Anthony
Like
Michael
what
Hall.
needs to be the mood? Like
You
what,
need to be drinking
Trapped
wine
on a
with
dirt
your
road.
lady and
red wine? Just,
absolutely.
It's going to
Okay,
take
good.
you right
13%.
back.
The road's
wet-
washed
Really?
out. You can't leave the house. You're stuck. But we have this movie.
No, you don't have to be
Weird,
stuck.
Weird Science.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a good one. Heck
So
yeah,
you-
it's
you
an
guys
all-time
know my
classic.
genre.
Adam
like-
Adam Cincerillo's in it.
No, he's not.
Stop.
That's Anthony Michael
He's
Hall.
Anthony Michael
it.
Hall.
He looks
Stop
like
it.
him,
Looks
but
just
it's
like
Anthony
him.
Michael Hall.
Right, and he's real skinny. He was a kid from Breakfast Club. You ever
I've
seen
never seen
Dude, Ricky was
Breakfast
probably 5 years old when
I've
that
never
came
seen
out.
All right, we're
Right.
good. When
Dude,
this is
I-
over,
wait,
They're still
I'm
classics.
40. I'll be 44 in November.
hey,
Yeah, you're
we're
in the genre. You're my
It's
little
in
brother's
your
age.
wheelhouse. It's just you were
It should be.
young
a
and
little
busy.
bit young. When this
Dude,
is,
I was racing dirt bikes.
He's
man.
on
I
them
didn't
dirt
have-
bike
I
trails.
didn't have time
Down
to
there in
watch
Florida.
them silly movies.
we're leaving
Your
here and
mom's
going
like,
to
no laughing in this
We're
house,
going to leave
son.
here.
That's right.
We're just going to all go to Kevin's house and watch movies while his wife
Dude,
cuts
you know,
the grass.
I'll never
Yeah,
forget.
you need-
Dude,
it's
I'll
better
never
when she
forget
just cuts
He'll
this.
get his wife to wash your truck while you're there.
Yeah, she'll cut grass and wash your truck, and we'll have a great night.
Sundays were like at my house when I was a young kid growing up. I go back like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I'll never forget, dude. My dad loved drag racing, watching drag racing.
Okay.
And I love it now too, but back then when I was a little kid, I couldn't stand it, bro. So it was like,
And y'all had multiple TVs in the house, right?
oh,
Yeah, they
that's
had
good.
one.
Dude,
One, right.
we had a
up,
dial
Kermit,
phone. My kids don't even know what a dial phone
Absolutely.
is. We had the extra long cord where you could
Go into
bring
the
it into the
garage.
living room. No, bring it in the living
Mobile.
room because
Very
dude,
mobile.
I grew up in a 900 square foot home, 2
Yeah.
bedroom, 1 bath.
Dang it, son.
I can remember.
mad at you. I
I
believe
can remember being the remote control.
Yeah.
Get
And
up.
it was
Get
always,
up. Oh, yeah.
they had to hit you to change the channel.
That's right.
Get up.
Turn them rabbit ears, boy.
Dude, my dad would come home.
Get up and put that on wrestling for me.
Yes, my dad would come home and he would watch. He goes, "All right, go ahead and turn on Carol Burnett, and then we're going to watch the Lawrence Welk Show, which was a orchestra."
I don't even remember
show.
the Lawrence
What?
Welk show.
Come on.
I know.
True
I
story.
can. I remember that too.
And then
there's
Shauna
like-
and I would come on, and
If you
They're
think
15
drag
years
racing was
older than
bad,
dude, Lawrence
Dude,
Welk.
like-
It was a
Yeah, you
variety
guys
show.
don't even know what you
I
guys are
wanted
talking
to.
about.
I wanted to hang myself.
That's
during
from the
Lawrence
old
Welk.
days, Ricky. Way before.
It was black and white,
Way
bro.
before us.
If you
Are
ever
we
hear
allowed to
anybody,
cuss on this? Like just
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
like 19 shit?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
long ago?
Something like that.
It was something.
78.
That's when Kevin
I
was
learned
born.
that from Ken Strader.
you really like the Lawrence Welk show. If you ever hear anybody old make a joke about like a bubble maker, Kevin,
It's a
this is-
reference to the
It's
Lawrence
a
Welk
reference
show.
to that because when the show came on and off, they were just making bubbles for no reason.
Dude, it made no
I don't
sense.
understand.
It's so dumb.
Like it was the
But
worst.
literally, there was an orchestra. That was the gist. It was the main act was the orchestra and this conductor, and then they would have someone would come and talk for a minute. It was
Everybody was
traumatic
wearing a
as a
suit.
kid. You're just like, and my dad, he would not let you talk. If you started talking, he'd be like, hold his hand up, stop. And I'd be like, this is awful.
Son.
We had no other. We had video games. We had nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Hey, you'd be proud of me. I have seen E.T.
That's good. That's
right,
that's from
that's
1980, I think.
Yeah, that's early.
That's
80s,
old,
82
right there.
maybe?
Yeah, maybe 82.
82, 83.
Hey, let me circle real quick, Ricky.
Yeah.
This had to be kind of exciting for you to
Yeah, it
ride a
was.
motorcycle where we're not necessarily just trying to get a couple of half seconds here and there. We're not improving it for lap times.
We're starting from.
You're building a motorcycle and you're sort of getting to steer the direction of it.
Yeah, totally.
Was that exciting?
Yeah.
What's that like
Hell
to test
yeah.
a motorcycle
just
for
fun?
that?
For something to be part of the project, for the inception of it, and the development of it, yeah, it was an honor to be a part of, and it was an honor that Triumph believed in me. and it goes back to relationships. But I felt what I brought to the table was that I went through that process already throughout my racing career, luckily. Just at my age, as you guys know, I got to race a steel chassis, two-stroke, four-stroke, aluminum chassis at the elite level. And I went through the heartaches and the pain of trying to get an aluminum chassis to be compliant, but yet you like the rigidity, but it needed to be compliant in certain areas, and what tweaks and modifications on the aluminum chassis make it better in those areas, but it still had the pluses and the advantages of why they started having aluminum chassis. So I brought that, I was able to bring that that knowledge to the brand and kind of take the guesswork out of it for the engineers. And listen, we got a great group of R&D and engineers over in Hinckley at Triumph headquarters. And so yes, it was an honor to be a part of. And I'll never forget it. The first time that we tested their bike, it was right after Daytona Supercross 2020, before COVID hit. And there was just a slew of parts. There was a slew of parts everywhere. There's some things that I can't share right now, but it was a lot of fun, and I was.
Nobody's listening to this. You can share.
No, they had theirs. Yeah. I knew that it was going to be a great run because how organized they were, all the parts and pieces that they had, like everything that we had talked about and ideas of like, hey, we probably should have this component and we should probably try this, we should probably do this. They had 3 or 4 different iterations of each part and piece. Everything was completely organized. When we made changes, the changes did what they should do on paper, which doesn't always add up. Yeah, right. So it was a lot of fun.
I mean, that's a testament to the guys that are Dave Arnold and the guys that are giving you a great place.
This was actually before that, which is now like when we brought Dave Arnold and all those guys in. Now it's just the racing side of it has really ratcheted up. But it was I was impressed from day one. Then COVID hit, slowed things down, which it slowed everyone down, and then we made some substantial changes to the bike that we thought. And I say we. The company thought that should give it its own identity, and we'll let you guys minds wander on that, what change that was. But once we did that took some time, and I was happy about that change because I thought that that's what we needed to do. I'm just a big believer in it, and ever since then, we've just been grinding it out and going through the testing stage and reliability stage. That's where we're at. So.
Well, I started to ask Bobby a little bit about the team riders, and all of that's announced. It's out there. Yeah. I mean, it's 100%. So he kind of said, hey, man, at the end of this, and Rod said the same thing, we expect to be winning and going for championships.
Oh, yeah.
And so with your initial team, Bobby talked about the difficulties in, hey, man, it's hard to get some riders. We don't even have a bike and
a location.
We don't have a location. We don't have anything. But I think when you have a team such as you have, I think it makes it a lot easier for people to step out on a limb, and then they see some progress with the bike, and it.
Yeah, it's like you go, hey, I got Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and we're going to put together a nucleus. I think we're okay.
It's a lot easier to cover up mishaps and mistakes
with the right team.
Yeah, with the right team, and easing into it, and not to have. I mean, I believe in our riders for sure, and they believe in us, and they certainly believe in Bobby, and that's why, when we were doing our due diligence and trying to pick out which guy could run Triumph America Racing. The interview process, it was a no-brainer for me.
Right.
I mean, Bobby's results speak for themselves. You think about how well he did when he had basically no support from Suzuki.
Yep.
Then, I mean, when he had the Husky team. So it was just, dude, it was like, I mean, it was like, no disrespect to the other people we talked to. I'm like, I always tell Triumph, like, dude, you just have to do this. And one thing that has been so cool is to see the loyalty from the past riders that Bobby has worked with, past champions. Those riders really like him so much. And I've gotten to know Bobby quite a bit these last couple years throughout this process, and I've had a tremendous, even more respect for him, because just seeing how he works and how patient he is, and that's comforting for a guy, you know, like Jalik. You know, I think it's, you know, it's good. Riders need that confidence in those guys. So I think that we're going to be in a good spot. I think, of course, we want to win. Yeah. But how everything played out, where we were at in the negotiation stages, for a top level, like past champion or current champion, we weren't in the position to, you know, to sign one of those guys. But I'm okay with that, because long term, it'll give us some time to be right. So when you do have a guy, and this is what's been amazing about the HEP Suzuki team, you know, you can see when they brought a guy like Ken Roxon on, then the personnel just started to change, and they, you know, they like, oh, we got that guy. He's been around. He knows what he's doing. Oh, no, oh, they got him too. Oh, he knows what he's doing as well. So when you bring over a championship contender, you have to have the personnel. Bobby's done a great job. We already got that. So I think we're ready.
Hey, tell me about the bike. And we talked to Bobby about this, and I want to bring it up again here. Like, when you're riding this bike, and you know how it needs to perform for you, but then in the back of your mind, are you able to dumb it down and know it's got to work for dorks like me?
Boom. Great question. And the reason that I say that is because when I do some R&D stuff for Fox Racing, whether it's like boots or helmets or whatever, like, I mean, a lot of their stuff is, you know, comes from the top level and what their feedback is on how a helmet feels or how a boot feels. But I've been in that situation, as you guys know, and a lot of that is geared towards what works for them.
Totally right.
So when I am testing for anything, in you know, with Triumph, of course, I am thinking about the people who are buying our motorcycles. If I can get that motorcycle to work good for them, and we have a great base, then it's only going to complement the race team. Yeah. So we have our standards, and I know, like we were talking about, like suspension. I know what I like isn't for the normal person. We all know that. Okay, my bike is low, choppered out. That's what I needed to go fast, to win races, win championships. You look at my bike now, it's completely different. It's more of a neutral setup. Anybody can hop on it. It's very balanced, and that's good for the general consumer.
Are you doing that on purpose? Have you set it up that way?
Yeah, like I do. I want the bike to work well. When the press hops on it, I mean, listen, they're like a home inspector. They got to find something wrong with it.
That's right. That's a good way to put it.
You know what
really
I mean?
Good
it's
way
like,
they get paid to find something wrong.
You know, there's a crack in the grout there on the coping of the pool.
Man.
Pool's been there for 25 years.
Well, there still shouldn't be one. Needs
Still,
to get
you know,
looked
if
We're
it was
going to fail
done
you,
right.
and we'll see you in 2 months when we come back to check it next
Yeah,
year.
so, you have to keep that in mind. There is some racing influence in there as well. I mean, a lot of racing influence in there as well. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys, but at the same time, it can't just be generated for pro racing. It has to be generated for the consumer.
Do you have anything in place at the dealership level that would keep you from selling a motorcycle to Nick Blackman if he walks in? Because Freewheeling just hands him a 60 horsepower motorcycle. And, you know, we're talking about Nick Blackman here. So
It's not good.
A legend.
We're like, why did you make that choice to sell him that? Because that's Nick's thing. He's like, I just walked in there and they sold it to me. They're crazy, man.
It's got a Supercross caliber motor, and
I'm joking, Ricky. We're just joking.
No, it's going to be more like, now that we know the R&D about the Fox gear, and Ricky's going to be like, his phone's going to ring.
You know,
if Nick calls and bitches about the way his pants fit one more time.
You know what's crazy is, like, and just to show you where my mind's at, when I did when we did the unveiling of the bike at SMX at the Coliseum, dude, like every time I was riding that bike, dude, I'm judging it and making sure, like, okay, did we hit the mark? Is
Yeah,
everything
instead
all
of just
right? And
having
I'm
fun.
taking the worst, the worst, crappiest line possible because, in my
Oh, wow.
opinion,
That's what we
if
do.
you can get,
Yes,
that's why
true
that's why
story.
you're gonna love it. You know
That's
why?
genius.
Because it handles like a dream in the gnarliest conditions.
Dude, I can't wait to take him riding when he follows our shitty lines. And we got our
Check
little
it out,
headsets
Ricky.
on.
Watch what we do right here.
Watch my line.
You meant there's a difference between shitty lines and a rough track.
Yes.
I
say it
find
on-
both.
we
I find
have
both.
both.
Yeah.
I find the shitty line on a rough track.
We can find the shitty lines on a smooth track.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure. 100%.
Yeah. But that
So-
sort of shows your dedication, though.
Yeah,
Ricky. Even
yeah.
on the parade lap.
Oh yeah, oh dude,
To
that,
just
like,
still break it
that
out.
right-hander up on top of the peristyle. You could see guys like fighting to get to the inside.
Yeah.
Like Kenny was doing it, Jet was doing it, because the dirt was kind of breaking away. At least it was when I was up there riding, and there was a ledge there. So like I'm trying to I'm turning the bike where the dirt's falling off, making sure it's good because it was like ice there, and this thing needs to perform well here because this is a extreme condition, and it handled extremely well.
How cool is that to go up the peristyle?
Oh, it's awesome. It was so,
Yeah, you had to be pumped to do. To make
yeah,
that
it was
lap.
so cool.
With
it was so
Stanton?
much fun. Yeah,
I mean,
with with Stanton, that was the kind of thing though. Like, I'm weird. Like I didn't want to be out there by myself, man. I feel weird like
Let's
that.
take a friend.
That ain't, yeah. So I brought
Bring a friend to work day.
Brought six
time with me, and dude, he
Whenever
he's just
I'm
a
alone,
great
I
guy.
call Stanton.
He kind of eased the pressure of it all, and I didn't feel like some weirdo out there, like some attention. It's like I want all this attention, so I'm not doing it by myself. So you need to bring some
That's
other
what
guy.
JH is for.
Curly?
Yeah.
You guys call him JH. I don't even know who JH is.
Yeah,
I know
he's like, who do
I
you-
know Curly.
The bald-headed guy?
He
gonna hurt
doesn't
me.
like that reference. He's not. That's not cool, man.
Oh, Curly.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Curly can't ride.
No, but I'm sure you probably set him up and sent him out, and maybe dropped off some motorcycles when he was on a cruise and said, "Hey, fix these for me."
Yeah.
But we know you mellowed because you were out there with Stanton doing that lap, and you didn't like stuff him or
Kill him,
take
yeah,
like,
run him down. Hey, what
Like
Bobby-
halfway
Bobby-
through, you just go back and like,
I could have
I'm
cleaned
gonna
you
beat
out,
it.
dude. I could have cleaned you out. Bobby wanted us to ask you about a triple.
Something
Yeah,
about a
so
triple.
he had this like tabletop downhill triple, whatever it was.
first
and
off,
Do you double?
was it a triple or was it a tabletop?
tabletop triple?
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank you.
It was amateurized,
Yes.
Okay.
and
So it's a double.
Yeah, double.
Single
And if you wanted to go head on down the hill, you could triple.
So it was a tabletop with another
Step
bump
with a
afterwards.
jump
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, if it was a full blown, like if I came up short, I was gonna hurt myself. No, you won't see this joker doing it. I can tell you. So he's like, dude, you're not jumping a triple. You're not jumping a triple. I'm like, why? Like, I don't need to do
Athletic
anything.
maturity
Yeah,
right there.
So anyhow, like an idiot, okay, everything I tell people, hey, don't do it, don't take the bait. Guess what I did?
You hucked it.
I hucked it, and then we're riding the Tigers home, and getting like 2 or 3 hours down the road. Like all of a sudden, like my calves hurting,
Everything's tightening up.
and then there's just instantly I started getting mad at Bobby. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't be mad at him, but he did fuel he fueled the flame for sure.
That's right.
Peer
I'm
pressure.
gonna get him back though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear him out in bass fishing. He can't stand that. He don't like to lose, and I know he don't like to lose at fishing. And I'm gonna wear him out next time we go.
I like that plan.
Last time we went fishing, I can tell you this: we tied.
We can't have
Yeah,
that.
we tied. You know what? He didn't catch one, and I didn't catch
Ah.
one.
Man, that's ridiculous. That's
you
a
know
tough.
what? He did that old trick. Oh, I got one, and then
So you're saying-
it got off. I'm like, man, you had a damn
liar.
limb.
He hooked
You
a
had limb.
stick. He's picking up
Oh
stick
yeah,
bass.
yeah, he did.
He
Stick
didn't
bass.
go out there and hang some stuff on the trot line like the day before and
No,
oh, look what I reeled
he
in, Ricky. I
didn't.
got
I'm gonna-
6 fish.
Yeah, hey, next time, and there ain't nothing worse than going wearing out a man at his own bass pond.
That's right.
Oh, that's
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
now,
a
what do you
bad-
fish with? Because remember,
Dude,
Malcolm?
I'm
school?
artificial worms, bro.
That's the way to go.
Yamamoto, you name it. That's I'm a red Yamamoto, red or purple, dude.
We have yellow
any
works
condition.
good on
You
up
like
here.
yellow? See,
No,
I'm
up here. I'm just saying up here.
Pumpkin
There's a couple
seed?
of ponds with, well, that works good too. The yellow or the pumpkin
Are
seed.
you,
about
are you a
corn?
mono or
I'm not a
braided
big
guy?
fishing dude. I just know what catches the big fish on my lake out here. So it's
On his
The
lake.
biggest ones
Yeah.
are yellow.
On his
Off of yellow plastic worms.
Oh, so cool.
You got a
Very good.
lake?
I got a
Damn,
lake.
Hey,
You got a lake,
big,
Ricky?
Big,
So-
big time.
You got a
Hey.
lake, bro? He's got
No, I live on a lake with about
It's
20
not
other
even his,
20
man.
other people, but it's not
Well,
mine.
it's not even
his.
JH is like, oh yeah, that's my lake right there.
Come on, dude.
I'm like,
John's
that's
like-
your lake, or you live on a lake?
Look at the battle of the redheads up on
I know.
the
There's
lake.
a lot going on right here.
Listen, you need to come, like you said, beat him on his own turf. You come up here and fish.
Oh,
His
there,
lake.
you want to
Go there.
get in a man's
we'll-
head?
then we'll ski.
You just wear them out on their own
lake.
their own.
He knows
stuff.
where to go, when to go, what to use, and if you beat
And
him,
then Ricky just rolls in there and upsets the balance. I
Yeah.
like it.
just like
That's
the
right.
nation, son.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Push him out.
Just like it.
Go there, wear them out.
Yeah.
And
Right
that's the
on.
best
You know,
thing
I
to do.
think I
If
told
you
this
can-
story the last time we were on here, and going back. This is totally off subject.
That's how it should be. Off
But
subject.
one of my favorite stories that from,
What, you beat me at like Etchikani or something?
No, that was me.
No,
You
no.
beat me. You lapped me twice in 5
no,
laps.
that was
None of
And
us
it's
have ever
not-
beat you.
I
No.
didn't lap you twice in 5
I
laps.
swear. You got me on the first lap. Because I think
Come on.
Seriously.
we started 30 seconds ahead. This is when you were in the B class. And I started, the A class took off first.
True story.
And you caught me before the
I
end
was
of the first.
announcing it.
You started 30 seconds
Hey,
after
Kyle,
us.
have you been lapped by Ricky Carmichael at Loretta Lynn's?
Yeah,
Hey, his
hey.
biggest goal was 96 to not get lapped. And what was it? Not what 96? What year was it? When your bars went down to the tank.
96.
Okay, so
That was
you-
96.
No, he's
did-
talking about like they broke loose
No,
and hit the tank.
but yeah, they went down to the tank at Loretta's, but you did not lap him
I'm
because
sure-
of that. That's the only reason you didn't lap him.
I'm sure you remember racing Kyle in '96.
Dude, do you remember that year? That was,
was
my
home.
chain came off, dude.
Okay.
I hit a rock, the chain came off, and I got my chain back on somehow. It was
Ricky's
like
out there
derailed.
rolling
Old
it
school
backwards
way.
and
Was.
stuff, like little kids.
I was no, I
What were you gonna
I
say?
never beat. Well,
About racing, Ricky?
I think you were on 80s.
You
and
gonna
Shay
embarrass
was-
me
No, I'm
over here?
not. I don't hope not. But
No, you can't.
and
be.
Shay
No.
was it was you and
Listen,
Shay.
dude, I know you guys up here in Atlanta area.
Yeah.
Y'all love you some Shea Bentley. I know that.
No, listen.
We were supposed to.
And I
That's
didn't know.
for, that's
I didn't
for real.
know Shay from Adam's House Scout. I didn't know it, but y'all take off and Shay pulled a whole shot at Itchikani. And I don't know if it was Kevin or something. This is how
Probably Joey
fired
doing
up
the
you used to
announcing.
get, and you wanted to win so bad. Like he pulled the whole shot, and I swear I think it was Kevin. I looked over and I was like, "Damn, Shay got the whole shot." And so, whoever it was went, "Yeah, this ain't gonna be good for Shay."
Oh, no.
It was a furious
This
battle.
on many
come
bikes.
on.
They're like,
No, I mean, it was just a great battle.
yeah,
I
like
knew
2
what,
corners later, you were bouncing off of him. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
mean-
"Oh yeah," and he's like,
He
"Yeah."
had to hand him his stuff at his
You
home
know
track.
what's like-
It was
dude,
almost
like
like,
my
it
parents
was
would-
like, "Oh, Ricky's not gonna like that."
My parents would bring me up here, dude, and
To
just like
bring-
we would, we
hunt him
would
down.
we would chase a competition down. And be like, inside of me, like, man, I hope Shay ain't there today, or I hope Robbie Horton ain't there today,
Right.
because I just don't like. I'd wake up, like, peek through
Be
the
all
shades
tired.
of the motorhome, like
Who's
looking,
here?
looking like seeing who's there.
Shay just staring at
Oh man, this means I got to ride my ass off today.
Dude, who said that? Was it Ezra Luss that said that about Mike Brown? The same thing. He hated, like, who?
Yeah,
was-
No, Jeff Dement.
that would have been his
Yeah,
competition
that'd have been
for
Ezra,
sure.
been like his.
No,
Dement
but
here.
there was somebody that was the same
Said
way.
that
It was
same
like,
thing. I'm like, dude, I just don't want to.
Oh,
Every
no.
weekend.
Emmett used to
this
say that
day.
about Denny Stevenson.
Might have been Wyndham,
Really?
too.
Wyndham said that? I don't. Dude, he
I think
had
it was Wyndham.
No,
Wyndham had everybody.
He probably
covered.
said that when he
I know,
looked out
but-
the window and Ricky was there.
I think that there's something to that. You're saying the same thing he said. Like, it's okay every now and again, but like when your dad would just drag you all over the country, like, oh man, I got to race this guy. He's the best dude here. He's the best guy. Bogart here, or
That might
whatever.
have been
Yeah.
Turpin.
Bogey.
Turpin talking about his dad dragging him all over the nation, just leave him in California.
Right.
He's
it might have
11
been.
years old.
yeah, sent him out in his van by himself at 11 years old.
Yeah, you're good.
Figure it
You know
out.
how to drive it.
Figure it out.
Here's the keys. Have enjoy
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. That's how it went down.
Well,
So-
It's a good stopping point. You want to shut it down?
yeah, I think,
Yeah, let's
I think
call
it's
it.
time.
Hit
I
the
got to
kill
roll.
switch.
They're gonna go watch movies.
He's going to watch Weird Science. We're going to get a report.
Let your wife wash his truck while we're at it.
Hangover. We'll watch Hangover.
Yeah, we're gonna head on back to Tallahassee.
You got to drive all the way back.
No, we're flying somewhere out of here. Where?
Charlie
where are we
Brown.
Going? Where
Charlie
are we
Brown?
flying out of, Curly?
Fulton Industrial. Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown
Where
Airport.
no, it's
Let's claim it.
There's one in Dallas right up the road from us too, in my hometown, off 278.
If y'all need a ride,
Pauldon
Kevin.
County Airport. Carrollton.
Oh,
You know where
God.
that's
Out
at?
of the small field.
That's
That
right
is
near
a
my
small
track.
field.
Yeah, we're supposed to leave at 8, but we ain't making
But you
it
got
there by
screwed
8.
over by these people.
It's okay.
That's crazy.
It's okay though.
Well, dude,
So
I mean us.
We're
when I say
bringing the
that.
cameras and the XRs down.
Yes, please do that.
We will
Yeah.
when it's
You
all.
would
Oh, I
get on
can't
a-
ride the XR though.
Well, we
No.
will.
No,
Oh,
we will, and
And,
we'll
we-
be,
and you make
oh,
fun
okay.
of us.
and you'll be behind us laughing and
See,
saying, "You
dude,
idiots
I
look
don't-
so dumb."
Well,
Well, you got to do
we got
something
some-
dumb.
We can.
Oh, we
Oh,
will.
don't even worry
We'll-
about that.
I
Like
can't
we
help
got
but do
that
it.
handled.
We'll duct tape Triumph stickers all over.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
We good, Kyle?
But what we will do is go, check us out, Ricky. Look at this air we're getting. And you'll be like, you guys are idiots. That's how it'll go down.
Because you know we can record on the Cartas, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's what we want
Pack
to do.
Talk
Yep.
Edge. Yeah, you can record our conversation. So we got some great recorded conversations on our summer adventure
Oh,
and
that's
fall
killer.
friends ride that no one will ever hear.
Yeah, they don't need to hear everything, do they?
No.
Some of that stuff is
No, they shouldn't hear any conversation. When I'm not on a mic, you don't need to hear pretty much
No.
everything I
that's,
say.
that's pretty much
it'll
it.
cause a little issues
But
here and
that's
there.
what we talk about with the show. Like the funny stuff is
Not
before and
30
after.
minutes
yeah.
after.
For sure. You've done it with Ryan Villo, too. So,
Yeah, when
Ricky,
it's-
get out of here, man. We'll
All
let
right,
you back out
see
here.
you
All right,
guys.
go
Thanks
to
for having
Carrollton.
me on.
Good luck
Winners
with the project.
take y'all.
Yeah, winners
Appreciate you,
take
my
y'all.
man.
Good
Get
luck
you
with your
another-
project.
I'll let you have another sticker. Junior's got my name on
It's
it.
got his name on it.
Yeah,
in
we
case you
forgot to
forget.
talk about
See you,
how
brother.
appreciate you,
Hey,
man.
thanks, dude. It was awesome.
There you go, man.
Good to see you.
How Kevin was hoarding stickers from Ricky. Like he's,
I gave
Kevin's
him
like,
two.
I only got 68,000 left. We don't want to get rid of them all
And I
at
licked
once.
my fingers. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's one for
There's
you.
one,
Now
son.
you want one for your
Now
dad?
You come back tomorrow. I don't mind
Jenny.
one a day.
Jenny Carmichael want
Yeah,
one too?
Yeah.
Ricky asked Kevin for a sticker, and he's like,
God, dude, this guy's so needy. He's always wanting stickers, man.
and then he flipped through to make sure he gave him one with his name on it.